Los Angeles.
Or when you're bouncing between projects like a ping pong ball. We build PCs with long-lasting battery life, so you're not scrambling for an outlet. And built-in intelligence, so you can stay focused on whatever you're doing. Dell Technologies, built for you. Dell.com/Dell PCs.
We're your official station to talk Yankees and Mets. WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, an Odyssey sports station. Get connected with WFAN to talk about your favorite teams. The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
Sports Radio 101.9 FM. The Fan. WFAN.
Oh, that's right. It's your boy, Anthony Gallo, and we've got a jam-packed night of action right here on The Fan. 888-808-1019. The Knicks take game one. The Mets are in a free-for-all, but the biggest news of the night, breaking 20 minutes or so ago, saving me from a night full of Mets misery, Dexter Lawrence is headed to the Bengals for the number 10 overall pick in the draft. Right now, it seems like that is the only compensation. We will get confirmation as the night goes, but what a night. And either way you spin it, if you were a Giants fan who was sick of the crying from Dexter Lawrence, if you were a Giants fan who maybe didn't want to get rid of Dex, the one thing you can look at as a silver lining, no matter what, is John Harbaugh, year one, clean slate. He is going to be able to mold this team in whatever way he wants. Dexter Lawrence, one of the most, underappreciated players going into last year. Obviously, last year was a disaster. And I think he's one of the better defenders in the league. But there is a sense of relief you get as a new coach trying to build something out where you don't have these linchpin players, these faces of the franchises that you can't get rid of. So Lawrence goes for a 10th overall pick. That is a big get. No, obviously he was the 17th overall pick. He's an elite player coming off of a bad year. And not just a bad year, a year where his work ethic was questioned, where his physical ability was questioned, or even just his body and him taking care of himself was questioned. The Giants get the number 10th overall pick. I don't know what the Bengals are doing. And they now have a flexibility in this draft that they can go a million different directions, and they could cure a lot of problems that in year one, they're not going to go out there, win a Super Bowl. They're not going to go out there and win 14 games, but they could go out there and set a foundation for the John Harbaugh era, for the near future and beyond. With this trade, what a win. Outside of the Mets, things are looking great right now in New York. Knicks win. Yankees offense explodes. The Giants finally getting a fresh start. And you go out there, you still have Brian Burns. This probably means you're not getting rid of Kayvon Thibodeau, in my opinion. You have Abdul Carter. Your defensive line is fine. Yes, you're going to have to replace an interior defensive beast in Dexter Lawrence. But John Harbaugh gets another pick to work with. He gets cap relief. I will get the numbers on all of this, what the dead cap money was on Dexter Lawrence, which I can't imagine is going to be a major number. And then he is scheduled to do his physical tomorrow in Cincinnati. And at that point, the trade will be official. I think that we could, what the Ravens did with Max Crosby is not going to happen here. That was a shady, little shadiness in that situation. They did not, Giant fans do not have to worry about this taking place in this trade. As we await more on the details, Dexter Lawrence will get his contract with the Bengals. And the Giants now sit with the number 5 overall pick and the number 10 overall pick. And as you sit here going into the draft as a Giants fan, you now don't have to worry about just hitting a home run at 5. Yes, you need to draft someone who is going to be a primetime player for you for the next 5, 6, 7 years. But there is the ability now that you could get somebody at 5. Somebody drops down. I'm looking at mock drafts coming into the weekend. A guy like Caleb Downs was being mocked to the Bengals at 10. If the Giants were able to get somebody like a Sonny Styles, like a David Bailey at 5, and then on the flip side, get a Caleb Downs. Or, and I heard this from Gordon Damer before, who was on when the news broke, which I actually like this idea, is the Giants can now go and trade that number 10 overall pick, maybe move down in the first round, get to the back end of the first round, and recoup picks in the second day of this draft or next year's draft. This is a big win for the Giants. This is honestly a win-win move for both teams. If you're the Bengals, I don't love giving up the number 10 overall pick when you've just finished the season you did, but I'm sure they're looking at it as, we just lost Trey Hendrickson, we bring in Dexter Lawrence to add to a defense. You have Shamar Stewart, and you also have on the other side, elite weapons at wideout, elite weapon at quarterback, elite weapons in the backfield, where you can view yourselves as potential, I would like to think if you have Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase, you are a Super Bowl contending level team. But I'm sure that's what they're viewing. They're not viewing themselves as the Giants, who are in a, second phase of a rebuild when you look at it. Because obviously, yes, Harbaugh's first year, but you got the quarterback last year, and you move forward. And for the Giants, I saw that whether I forgot if it was Joe Shane or John Harbaugh, one of them it was Joe Shane. So Peter Schrager, Joe Shane, was in Arizona Thursday night, dined with the Arizona State wide receiver Jordan Tyson. So there we go. There is a possibility, and what Schrager's saying is that's probably not a number 5 overall pick. That's possibly a number 10 overall pick. So the Giants trade Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals, and it is a exciting day. It is disappointing that a great player, an all-pro level talent, wanted out, was frustrated. I don't really blame him. You went through all the losing that you went through here, but, last year kind of on his shoulders as well. But where are we at, Giant fans? Are you excited? Is the optimism growing even more? You've had a great offseason. You got John Harbaugh. You had and what I thought was a good free agency with limited cap space, and you go and add to an already, not front-heavy draft, but a draft where you hope to build the future. 888-808-1019. Also, the Knicks win 113-102. And outside of a little small brief period there with about 2 minutes to go where the Hawks go on an 11-0 run, never really felt like this game was ever in doubt. Even when they were, turning the ball over a lot in the first half, the Knicks go out there and take care of business, and there's a lot to be excited about. Jalen Brunson doing what Jalen Brunson does, cooking in the playoffs. Karl Anthony Towns played great tonight. At times he still has his moments, defensive lapses, all of that. Played great tonight, so we will get into that as well. We've got a fun night ahead of us. We will also ruin the night at some point and talk about the Mets and their disastrous start of this season. Yankees explode in the Bronx today, but Dexter Lawrence is heading to the Bengals. And now the wheels start to turn. There is a endless amount of possibilities the Giants could go with, whether it's via the draft, whether it's via trade, to bolster this roster. So year 1 of John Harbaugh, year 2 of Jackson Dart, they are in the best possible position to succeed. And I thought going into the year, obviously good coaching fixes a lot, but I didn't think the roster was, missing this huge amount of talent. I thought there was talent on this team. Defensively, they lack a bit of that, the big names in the secondary and in the linebacker group, but there was a lot of talent. Great pass rush. The offensive line was improved last year. You have the young quarterback. You're getting Malik Neighbors back. You hope Scadaboo is back early in the season. I don't really know what his timetable is on his injury, and you have a guy like Tracy. You bring in Isaiah Likely. You already have a Theo Johnson. So there is a lot to like about this Giants roster, and it's only going to get better. In free agency, you bring in Tremaine Edmonds. You bring in Isaiah Likely. You bring in a lot in the secondary, maybe not, the sexiest names. You bring in a Greg Newsome, you bring in a Darius Washington. Offensively, you bring in Darnell Mooney, you bring in Calvin Alston, you add Isaiah Likely. They have already vastly improved this roster, and it is not done improving. I think draft time, you're going to get another pass rusher. I don't know if Ruben Bain will be there at 5. If he is, I understand there are off-field things that are coming to light now, but he kind of fits. He's a bigger guy. I know the arms, everyone talks about the arms, but he kind of fits what you're looking at as far as like a pass-rushing, more modern interior defensive lineman. But they have a ton of opportunity here. You could take 2 guys with the 5 and the 10 pick. You could take somebody at 5, trade back at 10, move down, bolster your draft allotment on day 2, day 3. And guess what? We're going to have it all right here live on the Fans YouTube page Thursday night on the rooftop, 345 Hudson, and we'll be able to react to all of it. That'll be a fun night. And you got to be excited. New York football has been dead for a decade now. And we're starting the Jets, in my opinion, great offseason so far. The Giants, they get John Harbaugh, no matter what happened this year. It was a win, or this offseason, not this year, but this offseason. And you go out and you make a move like this. And yes, you are losing an elite talent. I'm not under or downplaying what Dexter Lawrence was. I have been a big proponent of Dexter Lawrence being an underappreciated player in this league for a long time. But he didn't want to be here. You have a new coach who now has a clean slate. Yes, there are guys obviously on the roster that were here before, but this was a way of, look at what the Mets just went through. And it's been a disaster, so it's a tough, apples to apples comparison here. But it's easier for a new regime to build something when they don't have to be anchored down by certain players. And when you have a guy like Dexter Lawrence, who has been here for so long, has been a face of the franchise for so long, obviously being an interior lineman isn't the sexy position that wide receiver or pass rusher or quarterback is, but he has been the best player on the Giants for a long time. But being able to get rid of somebody like that in year one, because what do you want to go through year one? And yes, maybe you have some positives, but then the next offseason, you have a disgruntled Dexter Lawrence asking for a contract, ruffling some feathers. Now, you clean your hands of it, and you start year one in a good spot. And if you're a Giants fan, yes, right now, it's just hope. But that's a lot more than you've had. You've got the quarterback. You've got the wideout. You've got the head coach. You still have a good pass rush. You added to the secondary. You added to that receiving room, tight end, wide receiver. You have a young running back, puts his foot in his mouth a lot, but will run through a freaking ball. So that's all you care. You're not asking for a scholar at running back. You're asking for a bulldozer. You have Tyrone Tracy, a modern gadget-type back. You have an improved offensive line. Now you get to make big moves in this draft that hopefully, when we look down the line, 5, 6, 7 years from now, we could say this was the moment that truly the John Harbaugh era started. 888-808-1019. Let's kick it off. Patrick in Melville. What's going on, Patrick?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for taking my call. So, you know what? Listen, Dexter Lawrence, again, he has been the best Giant, to be honest, for the last 5 years. But if he didn't want to be here, especially with Harbaugh coaching, you know what? Good riddance to him.
Right.
I hate to say that, but, it is what it is. And, we got the 10th pick. I will say this, though. With the 10th pick, I do not want a receiver in the first round. I want to just bolster the defense, get Sonny Styles, get another defensive person, and try to get a receiver in the third or the fourth, second or third or second or fourth round. I do not want a receiver with the second pick in the 10th pick.
Why? Well, I don't hate that. I don't hate that, Patrick, because it is a position. It's kind of similar, and I appreciate the call. Kind of similar to, the not that wide receiver and interior defensive pass rusher linemen are the same level of importance, but I kind of look at the Dexter Lawrence move. Yes, you always want an elite talent at any position, but I do think it's easier to find a guy to fill that position that can play that position alongside an Abdul Carter and a Kayvon Thibodeau and a Brian Burns. And at wideout, it's not that you don't want an elite talent early. It's that there is so much talent at the wide receiver position, and we consistently see it every year. Guys later in the first round, guys later in day 2, day 3 that you get, and they are impact players. I am just, giving you, I guess, if you are trading Dexter Lawrence, I am not looking at it as just a straight up, whoever they take at 10, that's the trade-off. It's Dexter Lawrence for this guy. I am looking at it as you get the cap off the books. You get Dexter Lawrence is being disgruntled, not wanting to be here, away from this team. You get added draft capital, and you have a chance to hit not just one home run at 5, but 2 home runs at 5 and 10. And at the least, you hope that you are getting guys that are on your roster starting for the next 5-6 years. You don't have to draft a Hall of Famer in the first round. For me, a successful first-round pick outside of maybe pick 1 or 2 is getting a guy that is going to consistently start, be productive, and be, the Pro Bowl is a weird way to put it because the Pro Bowl is such a sham now, but a Pro Bowl caliber player, and a borderline all-pro type player. And there is the possibility that the Giants are not taking a guy at 10. They may trade back. It could be to get a first-round pick next year and to get more day 2, day 3 picks in this draft. It could be to get a back of the first-round pick, back first round, 20 to 30 type pick in this draft. And then maybe you get something on day 3 and add a day 2 pick next year. It's all about getting assets and maximizing the value of what you have. If you truly want to look at it, yes, Dexter Lawrence, all-pro type player. He is coming off of his worst season. And it wasn't just a worst season where you're like, all right, the effort was there. He just wasn't producing. No, the effort seemed to not be there. He wasn't necessarily taking care of himself from what reports are. What do I know? I'm yelling at these guys with Cheeto dust on my chest. So what do I know if a guy's taking care of himself? I think me walking for 10 minutes is taking care of myself. Also, it's a guy who did not want to be here, was disgruntled. That is the biggest thing. You got what I think is maximum value for this type of player. He is not young. He's 28 years old. Yes, he is not completely washed, but he is 28 years old. So he is out on the back end of his prime. You were able to get on a down year where I thought trading him would have been a mistake because I didn't see them getting a first-round pick for him because I thought that he had done such damage to his value this year that there was ultimately going to be either he was going to play on the contract he has now or he was going to end up signing an extension with the Giants. And I was wrong. And right now he is 2 years away from free agency. So he's got, it was 18.5 base cap this year, or 20, actually it was 20 million cap hit this year, 19.5 the next year. He wanted a contract. He wanted an extension. And it seems like the dead cap, I'm trying to get a more accurate hit on what that is, but it does not seem like there's a major dead cap hit here for the Giants as we look at this right now. I want to get more information on that, but let's go back to the calls. 888-808-1019. Sean in North Carolina. What's going on, Sean?
Hey, man. How you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I am so excited about this. I really am. He did not want to be here. And for us to get a number 10 pick from the Bengals is astronomical, man. John Harbaugh era has begun.
Yes, sir.
And I love this. And, man, we're all going to mix sexy Dexy. But is there anything else tied to this? So was it a straight-up swap, or did we give up another second round, third rounder? Is there any more details
from what
on
I'm
that?
seeing, Sean, I appreciate the calls. It's just right now the only thing I'm seeing is Lawrence for this 10th overall pick. And I will get absolute confirmation on this. It seems to be it's $13 million in dead cap this season, but they saved $13 million. And that dead cap may be I'm just seeing early. I'm waiting to get the confirmation on it. Or somebody else to actually clarify it. But it's $13.9 million in dead cap, $13 million in cap savings. But that dead cap, I don't know if that's spread between the two seasons or what exactly. But a super exciting time for the Giants. And again, like I said, we are going to look back on everything that happened this offseason. And hopefully in a few years, the Giants are competing for a Super Bowl and maybe they win one, whatever it is. And we're going to look back at when did we really feel like the John Harbaugh era fully took effect. And it is going to be this night. We're all going to be like, oh, we were watching the Knicks game and drying our tears about the Mets. And bang, Dexter Lawrence traded. And it would feel like tonight is that first step. Yes, we went through the introduction and all the corny quotes that Harbaugh likes to say, and we went through free agency and everything. But this is a big moment. And I know, I think it was a little overblown because it was a voluntary workout, but Paulson and Tebow, you might be next, buddy. So if there is any friction there where he didn't show up to camp, that might be the next big trade. I thought I saw something else there that was breaking right now. Again, Dexter Lawrence traded to the Bengals for the number 10 overall pick. Field Gates absent. A trade back info the first round. This will mark just the second time in franchise history the Bengals will not make a first-round pick. So that is kind of cool. But again, Peter Schrager also reported, as I said earlier, the Giants were in Arizona. Joe Shane in Arizona Thursday night dined with Arizona State wide receiver Jordan Tyson. So maybe this is something that is a precursor. Maybe they are going to chase a wide receiver at 10. Like I said, whoever they take at 5, which I think will be one of these pass rushers, the hope is you get lucky and somebody slides down. A Caleb Downs type, in my opinion, would be a huge win because I actually think he's the best player in this draft defensively. And I know the pass rushers are going to go higher. I think the corner from LSU also may go higher. Maybe they take Jeremiah Love at 10. And I think that's easier to stomach if you're a Giants fan than taking him at 5. I'm sure we would get you just traded Dexter Lawrence for a running back. I can't view it that way. I can't view it as a straight 1-in-1 swap. As far as something to note from Jordan Renaud, multiple sources told me earlier this week that defensive tackle Caden McDaniels is perfect for the Baltimore-style defense that Giants will run. So, all right, the rumors are coming out fast and furious right now, and it is straight up. So Jordan Renaud's reporting that it is straight up Dexter Lawrence for the 10th overall pick. There is no other compensation either way. Sometimes you see, the Giants trading a 7th and also getting like a 6th back in the trade. It's none of that. Straight up, Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals for the number 10 overall pick. A big day. This has been a great night because honestly, after that Met game today, I thought I was going to sit here for 4 hours talking to you guys about how pitiful the Mets season has been. The Knicks win big. The Giants trade Dexter Lawrence, and we have a fun show ahead of us tonight. 888-808-1019. And at 2, it's funny because how this is going to play out on Thursday night. The Giants obviously pick 5. The Jets pick at 2. The Jets, it's pretty, I think it's a foregone conclusion the Jets are taking one of the 3 pass rushers or linebackers in Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, David Bailey. That is going to have a ripple effect on not just the draft itself, but on what the Giants do at 5. So a lot of continuity in this draft right here between the two teams. If the Giants trade back at 10 or take someone, it's going to have a lot of influence on what the Jets do at 16. John Harbaugh has come in and has now gotten his clean slate. He gets to build this the way he wants while not being anchored down by certain players that the fans have affection for. And it does feel like, not that Giant fans dislike Dexter Lawrence, that they were ready to say, if you didn't want to be here, we don't want you here. I don't think it's a truly, I don't think they view him negatively. I do think that it's been mostly a positive response to this trade and to the way that Harbaugh has handled himself with, the very minimal controversies. Obviously, I think the Pulse of the Debo stuff was overblown, but there was that, not him not showing up. And now Dexter Lawrence being traded. Frank in Staten Island, what's going on, Frank?
Hey, what's up? How are you?
I'm good. How are you, dude?
First, I want to say thank you. I met you at Yankee Stadium about a year or so ago. You were an absolute gentleman. I didn't want to bother you too much. I was a big fan listening to you on the fan, obviously, for all these years.
Oh, awesome. I appreciate that, Frank.
No problem. Very excited about the Giants trade with Dexter Lawrence. I love Harbaugh. I'm very excited. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with the draft. I hope they draft 2 defensive players. I'm happy Dexter's gone.
Right.
I didn't like the fact that, we got a clean slate here with Harbaugh. I was thinking, you know what? Everyone's going to jump on board with the New York Giants, right? We're back to being this hopefully gritty football team, and Dexter didn't want to be a part of it.
Right.
He had 2 down years. Goodbye. Good luck in Cincinnati with an injured Joe Burrow.
Exactly. Frank, it's the way it is. It's not that he's not talented, but you have a new coach, a coach that's won a Super Bowl, a coach that's been to the promised land, that knows how to win. All he does is win. And you are now able to start clean. And if you don't want to be here, I don't think that's a guy I want on my team. You've got all these guys specifically, and I appreciate the call, Frank. You have a young roster, too. Thibodeau obviously is coming towards the end of his rookie contract. He's still young. Abdul Carter, Malik Neighbors, Jackson Dart, Andrew Thomas, all of these guys, Membu on the offensive line, all these key players that are young. You want leaders in that locker room. And not saying Dexter Lawrence is a bad leader, but just for the circumstance the Giants have, they hired Harbaugh. You want guys to buy in. And he got rid of the first guy who didn't want to buy in. And you know what? That's going to send ripple effects. They got rid of the best. I would say, obviously, probably you could say Brian Burns and him are probably the 2 best players on the defense, maybe on the roster, if you want to argue Malik Neighbors being up there as well. But you got rid of I think he's the longest tenured Giant on the team, a guy who's been a stalwart, all-pro defensive tackle, and you sent shockwaves to the locker room. Hey, you're either with us or you're gone. That's it. Mario in Long Beach. What's going on, Mario?
What's going on, my friend? How you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you, dude?
Good. So who did you say the Giants were? Is it Caden guy? Is that the Ohio State defensive tackle?
Yeah, I was literally using your call as a way to search him, but yes, it is the Ohio State.
Caden, I had him up. Right. I looked at him. You know what's interesting too is that when you look at this, Ohio State might have been able to beat one of the bad teams in the NFL. They got 5 top 10. 3 guys in the top 5 coming out, and
right.
1 in the first round, and this guy's that's 5 number 1 picks.
And he's a potential first-round pick also. He's more, I'm not going to act like I knew who Kaden McDaniels was before today, but he is, mocked towards the end of the first round, early second round, so they had a talented defense this year. They certainly would have been able to compete with the Jets, that's for sure.
Yeah. Not only that, they have that wide receiver, too, the best wide receiver, Tate. I think he's from Ohio State,
and Caleb Downs, they have a ton of talent. Arvell Reese, they were as talented a bunch as they could be. Thank you for the call, Mario. So that what Mario said as far as that would be a nice pick right there. And you get him at the back end of the draft. If they trade back, I don't think they're taking him at 10. Maybe this is a way to trade back, and they view it as, hey, we have 10, we have 5 and 10. We'll take our guy at 5, and at 10, maybe we're able to trade back to, let's say, I'll just pick a team out, the Chargers at 22, and we could take whoever it is, but an interior lineman like a McDonald. I called him McDaniels. It's McDonald. Kaden McDonald at 22, but then you're also getting maybe a third-round pick with that trade as well, or maybe you're getting a fourth-round pick and something next year. There is a million ways they could go with this draft situation, having the 5 and 10. Having the quarterback already locked up. You already got your quarterback. You will have your star wideout. If they're going to probably take one of these linebacker / edge rushers at 5, I would think. Obviously, we never really know. But if they didn't, they also already have a star pass rusher, Brian Burns. a guy who I think finished second in sacks last year to Myles Garrett. This is a Giants team that has got draft capital now. They were able to maximize a very small amount of cap space in free agency. And they did damage. Isaiah Likely, you re-signed Illuminor, you bring in Traymon Edmonds, you bring in a Darnell Mooney. Just to name a few of the guys. You were able to re-sign Micah McFadden. Calvin Austin, who is not a big name, but I think that's a sneaky signing, and I think Giant fans are going to end up loving him. But they have added to this roster already, and they are only going to get better. Having an elite guy like Dexter Lawrence at that defensive tackle position, interior defensive linemen, they kind of operate like an edge rusher, or even like how a defensive end used to operate, which is now turned into the edge rusher or the hybrid, whatever you want to call it. It's a luxury to have a guy like Dexter Lawrence like that. If there is a position I think you could find talent at a lower price point, it's that position to impact your team. But we're going to see. There is a lot to get into tonight. 888-808-1019. The Knicks win game 1, 113-102. We'll get into that as well. It's all on the table. But the Giants trade Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals for the number 10 overall pick. The John Harbaugh era is in full swing. Anthony Gallo on the Fan. Back after this.
It's Sunday afternoon baseball with the Yankees and Royals. 1:35 tomorrow.
Going, and go!
Susan Waldman and Dave Sims call all the play-by-play. The home of Yankees baseball is The Fan. 101.9 FM, 660 AM. And always live and available in Espanol with Ricky Ricardo on the free Odyssey app.
Hi, this is John Starks. At John Starks Kia, we don't play games. No gimmicks, no tricks, no hidden fees, no surprises. Score our John Starks special this month. A Kia Sportage for just $333 a month with just $3 due at signing. That's right, all threes. It's my favorite number. What we say is what it is, period. See you at John Starks Kia in Queens.
36-month lease. Excludes tax, title, and MV fees. No security deposit required. 10,000 miles per year. Expires April 30th.
For 100 years, London Jewelers has been part of life's most meaningful moments. From engagements and anniversaries to milestones, big and small, we've helped mark the moments that matter the most to our customers. Generations of families have trusted London Jewelers for exceptional craftsmanship, timeless design, and service that lasts a lifetime. As we celebrate a century of excellence, we thank you for being part of our story, and we look forward to the moments still to come. We invite you to visit London Jewelers at any one of their 6 locations. London Jewelers, celebrating 100 years of brilliance.
Hi, it's Alicata here for CertaPro Painters. I've been spending a lot more time at home lately, and my home is a happy place, especially when my wife is happy. For me, sometimes that can be challenging. But my friends at CertaPro Painters, they had no such problems. Big jobs or small, the good folks at CertaPro Painters are at your service. If you've been putting off a painting project, give them a call now at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with a C, and you'll see exactly what I mean. 1-800-GO-CERTA. And hey, ask about their spring sales event and get 10% off on qualifying projects.
Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in our community. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com.
Texting and driving? Big risk, big consequences. You risk traffic tickets, fines, and if you crash and injure someone, you could even go to prison. Pay attention or pay the price. Brought to you by the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety.
Hey, Boomer Esiason here. After years in the game, I don't guess. I go with what works. With Red Pocket Mobile, you lock in your rate and you keep it. No price creep, no sudden jumps, just straightforward pricing and premium 5G plans starting at $10 a month. Visit redpocket.com to see why more Americans are switching to better wireless without paying more. Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Dell PCs with Intel inside are built for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. For the time you forgot your charger at the gate.
Passengers, we are now on our initial ascent.
Or when you're bouncing between projects like a ping pong ball. We build PCs with long-lasting battery life, so you're not scrambling for an outlet. And built-in intelligence, so you can stay focused on whatever you're doing. Dell Technologies, built for you. Dell.com/Dell PCs.
Right now, with the Jeep Ram's declaration of deals, we're pledging our allegiance to the American people with great deals on the luxurious Grand Cherokee. With available 3-row seating, premium craftsmanship, and technology that turns every drive into an adventure. Or the Jeep Wrangler, with legendary 4x4 capability and the same open-air freedom you come to know and love. The declaration of deals is our pledge to the brave and the free, because freedom deserves the vehicle built to carry it. There's only one USA, and there's only one most awarded SUV brand. Jeep, there's only one. Hurry into your local dealer today for the Jeep Declaration of Deals, where well-qualified current Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE or Wrangler 4xE lessees get an ultra-low mileage lease on a 2026 Jeep Wrangler 4-door Sport S gas model for $299 a month for 36 months with $3,239 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Jeep has won more awards over its lifetime than any other SUV brand. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial. Current vehicle must be registered to consumer at least 30 days prior to lease. Extra charge for miles over 22,500. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 4/30. Jeep is a registered trademark.
It's Tiki Barber with 2 words any business owner wants to hear. Extra income. Amazon Hub Delivery is looking for New York businesses to assist with local deliveries. You get paid for each package delivered. Amazon Hub Delivery has no startup cost, no long-term contracts, and no delivery experience required. If you're a New York business ready to assist with local deliveries, sign up today at amazon.com/hub delivery. That's amazon.com/HUB delivery.
No matter the season, New York sports never stop. Yankees, Mets, Giants, Jets. If it's happening, we're talking about it. The Fan, 101.9 FM and always streaming on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
Right, Anthony Gallo on The Fan, 888-808-1019. What a night in NYC. The Knicks win big, mopping the floor with the Hawks. I don't care. The Knicks alarmists were out big in the first half, and on that little 11-0 run at the end, Knicks win big. Dexter Lawrence traded to the Bengals. The Yankees explode for a big day of offense, and the Mets are a mess. So, we will get to the Mets and all of that black cloud. It's sunny in most of New York. It is a dark, cloudy day in Queens. But the topic at hand, Dexter Lawrence goes to the Bengals for the number 10 overall pick. Giants save $13 million on the cap, and the John Harbaugh era is underway. Back to the phones we go, 888-808-1019. Lewis and Bayonne, what's going on, Lewis?
Mr. Gallo, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm a first-time caller, and you're like Galileo, more so, looking at the stars and you see the future. So let me explain to you this. This is my feeling. I've watched every New York team in this area since I'm 60 years old. I've seen a lot. But I'll tell you this. If I'm a Giant fan, I'm excited because, let's be honest with you, this is a coach that knows what they're doing.
Oh, I got him. Don't worry, Jack. Just put the phone pop back on.
About this.
Thank you. Yeah, Lewis, sorry, you got to reset there. Just don't drop any more F-bombs.
Sorry about that. But you know what? Most of New York fans are, they're kind of like that word off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm being honest with you about this. We're tired of losing. We have to deal with the Mets. I've been rooting this team since 77, 78, and I've seen losing. I saw winning. But at the same time, you can't always have the great thing. I know I'm short for time, so I'm trying to cut this right short. I think this Giant team has a great potential to it. They had got the number 10 draft pick. They got rid of that pain in the ass. Right now, they have to do is this. Get themselves the top offense and defensive player as best as they can. And if I had to, I would draw back. I would try to build into next year. Take the draft picks you have and see what you can do with it. Most Giants fans out there want to build a winning team. You've got the damn quarterback. That is the key thing.
That's the key.
You have the quarterback. I really believe that.
And Lewis, great call. That's the biggest thing is when you go into these, and the Giants are in a rebuild. It's not a full teardown rebuild, but the Giants are in a rebuild. They were in a rebuild last year. You got the quarterback. You got the new coach. And they are starting from square one with Harbaugh, but you have the quarterback. You have the quarterback and you have a stud wide receiver. Oh, you have the quarterback, a stud wide receiver, and you have an elite pass rusher. So you are going into this draft. You went into this offseason with a flexibility, no pressure to take anything. The Giants can literally do anything. I wouldn't even hate, and I get it, they do have Illuminor, you do have Andrew Thomas. They could take one of these linemen. They're not going to. But what I'm saying is, if they did, there's nothing they could do, short of, I guess, taking Ty Simpson, because why would you do that? There's nothing they could do in this draft that I'm going to even, we're all going to criticize and praise where we wanted them to go. We'll kill them if they didn't do what we wanted. We'll praise them if they do. We truly don't know what any of this is going to mean until they step on the field. It is. I love the draft. It is fun. I eat the draft up. Any draft, like I'm all over it. But it is also kind of the most overhyped thing in all of sports because we truly know nothing. We have no idea if Fernando Mendoza is even going to be a competent quarterback in the NFL. We know nothing. And yes, there are players that have key indicators that they're probably going to be good in the NFL, but we truly have no clue what any of this means. But the Giants are not backed into taking a quarterback. They don't have to take a pass rusher if they truly don't want to. They don't have to take a wide receiver if they don't want to. They have some of the key positions on their roster. Honestly, the only position that they truly don't have when it comes to like the key positions, exterior offensive linemen, pass rush, the tackles, the edge rushers, wide receiver, quarterback, they don't have a cornerback. Corner, not quarter, sorry. Their defensive backs are not the greatest. I like Holland. I like Adebo if he even wants to be here. They have some pieces, but they don't have that key guy. But they don't have to be backed into anything in this draft. They literally could do anything they want. I wouldn't take a running back at 5, but now if you take Jeremiah Love at 5, that sting doesn't really feel the same because of the amount of flexibility you have, not just in your roster, but in your cap space now as you free up some cap space. And with the ability to take a guy at 5, maybe trade back at 10, take a guy at 5 and 10, whatever you want to do. You could use 10 to go trade for an already established veteran. They would never do it, but, Max Crosby's out there. They're not doing that. But I'm just saying, you could go make an impact trade with this. There is so much opportunity here for the Giants. 888-808-1019. Jimmy in Warren County. What's going on, Jimmy?
What's going on, Gallo?
What's going on, sir? How are you?
First off, I want to say let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks.
Nobody was worried about the Hawks.
No one's worried.
Nobody was worried about the Hawks.
Jimmy, before you get into your Giants stuff, truly, if you are I'm not crushing the casual fan, if you're somebody who watched this team night in and night out, you were not worried about the Hawks.
No, I didn't have a worry at all. I was at a party today with some Knicks fans. They're all nervous, and I said, bro, I don't care. We're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. They could have lost today, go and I still would have felt pretty good. I'm not scared of anybody.
Let's go,
I'm not
Jimmy.
scared of anybody, especially the Hawks.
Jimmy, I like the way you're vibing right now.
I had the Knicks minus 9.5.
Okay.
Confident.
Yeah, I like it.
You know what I mean?
We get too much negativity with the Knicks. Jimmy, I love your vibes right now, dude. But what do you got to say about the Giants?
Damn right. Yo, this is what I got to say about Giants. I'm a diehard Giants fan. I learned a long time ago, you got to stay loyal to the front of the jersey, not the back. Dexter Lawrence didn't want to be here. Pick number 5. Give me Sonny Styles. Pick 10. Give me Caleb Downs. Let's institute some old school New York Giants football, and let's start hitting people again.
I like it.
You know what I mean?
I love it,
we
Jimmy.
We got to take advantage of these picks.
Jimmy, I love the call. Appreciate it, man. Awesome call. We need to replicate Jimmy's vibes all night with the Knicks, with the Giants. We'll wait to talk about the Mets and ruin the vibes. We'll get to that vibe-killing group later. But with the Yankees had a big day. The Knicks, big day. Giants, big day. I like what he just said. I would truly, if I'm looking at it, again, I'm not a Giants fan, looking out from the outside, looking in. I love Sonny Styles or any of these, whether it's Sonny Styles, if somehow Arvell Reese was the fall, he's not. Or if it's David Bailey, and I would love Caleb Downs at 10 because Caleb Downs defensively is my favorite player in this draft. Brian in West Palm, what's going on, Brian?
How you doing? I'm a big Giant fan also. I grew up, I graduated in 74, and the Giants trained over at CW Post College. I grew up in Westbury.
Right.
And I met my favorite Giant at the Atlanta airport, Fran Tarkenton, University of Georgia. I agree with that other player. Let's get Styles linebacker at 5, and I love Caleb Downs at 10. Let's go back to the tough style, because my daddy went to Fordham University. He passed away. He said the Giants invented defense. Let's get a great linebacker, and I love Caleb Downs, and I love the Knicks. I'm just a little scared how they match up with Detroit.
Well, Brian, you know what? I'm okay with that. But let's get there first. Let's enjoy it while we can enjoy it. And when we get to whether it's Boston or Cleveland or Detroit, when we get there, we'll worry about it. Great call, Brian. Right now, I am going to be worried, obviously, as the games get more intense with the Knicks. I am not worried right now. I'm not confident they're just going to run through the NBA, but I feel as good about this Knicks team as I've ever felt about any of my teams. They are a legit contender. As far as the Giants point he has, we hear about it a lot in baseball. The Mets, they've always been like a team full of, franchise that had great pitching. And the Yankees have always been a powerhouse offensive team. I always feel like it's kind of BS when it comes to, other sports. In football, there are these identities that tie to certain teams. And for the Giants, defense is one of those things. Growing up, my entire life, even when my parents or my older relatives, my grandparents, my friends' parents, when they would talk about the Giants, it's Harry Carson, it's Carl Banks, it's Lawrence Taylor. I can't believe that was the one that I stumbled on. And then when I was younger, it was Michael Strahan, it was Jason Sehorn, and then obviously the Super Bowl teams with Eli and that scary pass rush. They have always been a team that I tie. When I think the Giants, I think defense. And yes, they don't need to draft defensive players because of that, but it feels like they would. You hire the tough-nosed, gritty coach in John Harbaugh, and now you go out there and you think, also because of the way this specific NFL draft and the level of talent in this pool, yes, there are offensive players in it. It feels like you're going to see a lot of offense second, third round. The first round, I feel like you're going to see a lot of defense. I would not be shocked that outside of, and this is including everything we've heard about about Jeremiah Love, Carnell Tate, and Jordan Tyson, I wouldn't be shocked that after Mendoza gets taken at 1, and it feels like the Cardinals are going to take that offensive tackle out of Miami, there might not be another offensive player drafted in the first 12 picks of this draft. I could be wrong. I'll probably be wrong. But there is a good chance that this is a majority, very heavy. I would say maybe 2/3 of the first round is going to be on defense. That's the level of talent in this draft. It just feels like the Giants are headed that way. In the YouTube chat, MKA Doza says, I think this trade guarantees Downs is going to be a Giant. I can't, for me personally, I'm shocked that Caleb Downs is sliding as much as he has. I don't know if it's because the other positions are so competitive and there seems to be a bigger talent pool, or if maybe safety is not valued, or there's something we're not seeing that these teams are getting in their draft process that Downs is falling. Maybe it's all a smokescreen and he gets taken, 4th. Or maybe the Giants take him at 5. Who knows? If the Giants get him and they're able to get one of these pass rushers, it's a win. I'm sorry. I don't care if you try to be, they're never going to get the level of talent that Dexter Lawrence was. Well, Dexter Lawrence was the 17th overall pick. So they could definitely get that talent. You could get a all-pro player in the 4th round. It doesn't matter. We're not going to know if they've recouped this talent for a few years. Maybe we'll know right out the gate, but we're not going to know right away. 888-808-1019. Bobby and Madison, what's going on, Bobby?
I got a trade. First of all,
sir.
I could hear the excitement in your voice, and I'm overly excited about it.
You should be.
But So here's the thing. So every draft you read about online, Arizona may be a team that would be looking to garner some extra picks. So what if you leapfrog? Now, I don't remember how the points work in order to move in the draft.
It's so convoluted, but yeah.
Yeah. It's whoever came up with that system. So what if the Giants can take the 10th and move up to the 3rd or 4th? Now you could literally on back-to-back picks take Downs and Styles. Or if you really wanted to go...
So, Bobby, I like the players you're choosing. They probably wouldn't have to trade up to get both of those guys. Because if Downs is... And again, we don't know because a lot of this could be smokescreen. If Caleb Downs is falling in these mock drafts, I'm not saying he's going to fall to 10, but he's not going to be somebody who goes in the first 3 picks. It seems like it's going to be Mendoza and Reese with the first 2 picks. And a lot of the mock drafts, and again, they're just, projections. They're not fact. We don't know. They're saying the Cardinals are going to take the tackle at 3 or they're going to trade out. Now, to your point, if they trade out, I don't think a team is trading up, though, to get Caleb Downs.
Well, I'll say this. All right, so if that's not the case, would you think about this? Take the 10, move up to the 3 or the 4, and grab Jeremiah Love.
Well, again,
that may be a little high. I get it because
they might be able to get him at 5 though. So then,
but I think at some point though, you got to get a defensive impact player. This team, on paper last year, had a top 5 defense, and look where we wound up, like 31st against the run. So I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there only because of the excitement of the idea.
Well, that's the whole. You know what, Bobby?
Go.
That's why we're here. Yeah. We're workshopping all this. Great call. I listen. We're all excited, and if there's a day to get out of your minds about something and to be a little bit delusional, and I'm not saying he was delusional, but this is the day. They're not going to have to trade. In my personal opinion, Caleb Downs specifically, they're not going to have to trade up to go get him. But they also are. You're not, in my opinion, not trading up to get Jeremiah Love. You either take him at 5 or 10 if he's there, or you don't take him at all. I could remove myself from the situation because I'm not a Giants fan and I'm not scarred by a pick like the Saquon Barkley pick. If they take him at 5 and they get a defender at 10, or they take a defender at 5 and Jeremiah Love slides and they get him at 10, I am not going to sit here and crush the Giants for that. I'm not because somebody else was taken too high. We never crush a team that takes a quarterback too high again when they take another quarterback. It's never like that. But with specifically the running back position, we will do that. And we've seen a little bit of a renaissance with what the impact the running back has now in today's game, specifically this last season. Rob in Southern California, what's going on, Rob?
Hey, Anthony, how you doing, brother? Good to talk to you.
What's going on, dude?
Oh, man, I am so excited about this Dexter Lawrence trade. No respect to Sexy Dexy, man. I love the guy. I think he's a great player. He could be in the Hall of Fame one day, for all we know. God knows. He's a great player.
It's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. However, when Harbaugh came in, he's a guy who just wants to run a tight ship, and he doesn't want to give a lot of slack. Like Daboll, we've heard a lot of stuff about him giving slack to some of the players, and Harbaugh is like my old football coach when I was in John F. Kennedy High School in Somers, New York. He was a hard ass like Harbaugh is, and he didn't take any crap from anybody. And I think that's the kind of mentality the Giants are going to have this year. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, 100%. And Rob, I appreciate the call. There is no disrespect to Dexter Lawrence. I think in this situation, everyone got what they wanted. He didn't want to be here anymore. The Giants got rid of a guy who didn't want to be here. And you get the number 10 overall pick. You don't have to hate Dexter Lawrence. I get it if you're a Giants fan and you feel slighted by him. He also gave you a decent 6-7 years. What was it? 6 years, 7 years of his time. And it wasn't always easy. This year was not great. It was a bad look on him. But it's all for he's a 2-time second-team All-Pro player. He, 3-time Pro Bowler. He has been – at one point he was – when it came to defensive linemen, there was at one point, I think it was the last 2 years Darnold or Aaron Donald was in the league, they were the top 2 defensive linemen when it came to ratings. And that's nothing to, scoff at, but the guy didn't want to be here. He was out of shape this season. His effort was lacking. It felt like the motivation wasn't there. And that comes from a guy who, has lost a lot in his career. And it sucks because he's going to be remembered in a Giants era that was mostly losing. And he's still one of the, over the last 20 years, he's one of the best defensive players the franchise has had. But the time had come. He didn't want to be here. John Harbaugh is starting off his era and needs the buy-in. You don't want to be here? Good riddance. 888-808-1019. My guy, JR in Somerville. What's up, JR?
Yo, what's going on? Gallo, what's going on tonight?
Big night, buddy. It's big night for you, too, as a Giants fan. We both get our Knicks a big dub, and you get a big trade for your guys.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was pretty excited about the outcome of all my sports teams today. The Mets did what they did, but it's early yet. But I'm very happy about the Dexter Lawrence trade. But, I think that the Giants need to trade down one of these picks here, all right? Ultimately, I don't think that this draft is very good at the top. And I'm seeing mocks that have downs in the 18 range now. And I'm thinking that you go back, you trade back, you get value. And the biggest problem with this team was the tackles, really, and stopping the run. And, that's something that they got to reinvest in. And that kind of worries me because I was just talking about the Mets and how there's a hole in left field, which is crazy for a big market team to have. The Giants can't mess around and do that at defensive tackle. You guys want to talk about hitting people? You want to talk about all these things that we're talking? You got to do that. I'm not a big fan of getting a linebacker at 5 or getting a running back at all, and that high. But because the second these other teams are getting to the second level against the Giants, they're running us over. We need to get players in the trenches.
Well, but don't you think they already kind of have part of that? And it's not like they're going to completely negate the position. They're going to go out there and add somebody. And I really think it's a position you can add a big body that is effective. And it's also a position that there are a dearth of veterans still on the market that they can bring in. You pair it in with whoever ends up being, whether it's a draft pick or a free agent pick, there is got to be a give and take there where it's not like they're completely barren in the trenches.
I hear you. I worry what I saw. What I saw in Baltimore was a team that was supposedly defensive. The defense decayed over the last couple years with a great safety in Kyle Hamilton and with some other players, and not staying healthy is one thing, but at the same time, they were giving up points left and right. So, I'm just saying Harbaugh needs to make sure that they're going to be stout down there.
Right. And JR, I got you, dude. I appreciate the call, my guy. Just because we're up against it, I wanted to get his thoughts on the Knicks as well. But this past year was a bad look for Harbaugh's defense. They have had great defenses for the majority of his time. And yes, he took over. They had a kind of a foundation already set with that defense, but they have had great defenses in his time. This past year, they also were significantly banged up by injuries. So I don't think that they are, I'd have to really dive into it, specifically on the run game. I don't think that Harbaugh has had a bad run defense his entire time in Baltimore. So we have to see what's going on. And you know what? It wasn't always going to be everyone loved it. And I appreciate what Gerald was saying there. I just think that also, if you're looking at the draft and let's say they take somebody at 5 and they want to trade down at 10, we mentioned, obviously it was mentioned earlier by Jordan Renan, they like the guy at Ohio State, the defensive tackle, Caden McDonald. He's mocked at the end of the first round. So let's say they take 10 and they trade back and they get a late first round pick and they add a couple of day 2 picks, or they add one day 2 pick this year and a couple of day 3 picks, whether it's this year or the next year. There are multiple options here for the Giants to get better, even with losing such a talent. We got a lot to get to as the show continues. I got you for 3 more amazing hours. We'll get into the Knicks, the Mets, the Yankees, but right now we're talking Dexter Lawrence trade. Anthony Gallo on the Fan.
It's Boomer and Gio. Mornings on the Fan, 101.9 FM.
That's what we've talked about here for a very long time, especially with the football teams, is how bad they've been year in and year out and how exhausting that is. Yes, and last year with the Mets falling apart, that was exhausting, and them getting off to this terrible start now is exhausting.
Get Boomer and Gio on demand, available on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and the free Odyssey app.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Nothing but net. Nice shot. Man, I miss playing basketball. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
Lower testosterone?
Yeah, men just lose their edge after 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
Nugenix, the testosterone booster.
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula. It skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours and boosts your body's free and total testosterone in just 2 weeks. Since I started taking it, my energy is way up. I feel like I did back when we played for Coach Mac, and it's even spiced things up with my wife.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text BLING to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text BLING to 215-215. That's BLING to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424.
Hey fans, on Sunday, April 19th, when the Yankees take on the Royals, take your family out to the ballpark for the chance to receive a very special kids giveaway. It's Hershey Park Kids Ticket Giveaway Day. The first 10,000 kids, 14 and younger in attendance, will receive a Hershey Park Kids ticket, courtesy of Hershey Park. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com/tickets. That's the Yankees and Royals on Hershey Park Kids Ticket Giveaway Day, Sunday, April 19th. Visit Yankees.com/tickets today.
Every sports fan fears an injury to their team's players, but it happens. The only good news for professional athletes is that they have the best doctors and support to get back on their feet. But that's most likely not the case if you or a family member are injured. Who's going to make sure that you get the care and support that you need? The Rothenberg Law Firm will. For over 50 years, they've been winning for injured people. They've won and collected billions for their clients. The Rothenberg Law Firm.
Be a lawyer for injured ones. InjuryLawyer.com.
Together, let's drive at Paramus Chevrolet. For just $247 a month and $1964 due at delivery, lease a brand new Equinox 40 Wagon LT with two-wheel drive for 39 months. Buying, enjoy 0.0% APR financing for well-qualified buyers. Visit ParamusChevrolet.com today.
All-new Dunkin' Zero, only 20 calories. Zero sugar, the all-new revitalizing energy drink made with B vitamins, so you can actually feel good about it. Struggling to make it through the afternoon, wishing every meeting was an email? Sounds like it's time for Dunkin' Zero. It's the perfect pick-me-up without the spiral, and it comes in 6 delicious flavors like Suncest and Glamberry. Dunkin' Zero, only at Dunkin'. Dunkin' Zero drinks contain caffeine from caffeine and guarana. Beverages are fruit-flavored, contain 0% fruit juice. Participation may vary, limited time offer.
Town Fair Tire honors any valid rebates, manufacturers or competitors' rebates. Yes, even any competitors' rebates. And we give you the guaranteed lowest price. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Town Fair Tire.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a warehouse operations manager.
Where are the forklifts?
Sold them. Too expensive. We're using scooters now.
So you expect us to move a 2-ton pallet on a scooter?
Just lean into it. Put your back into it, people.
This is a job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Talk sports with Craig Carton and Chris McMonagle on The Carton Show. Afternoons from 2 to 7 on WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station. Your official station to talk Yankees. The Fan, 1019 FM, and always live on the free Odyssey app. Download it.
808-1019. We'll get back to the calls in a second. If you can't get through on the phones, you can always hit us up in the YouTube chat or check me out on X. And I'm always monitoring that. The WFAN pages, Pico Day _Gallo on X. In the chat, I asked what Giant fans wanted to do with the two picks of the first round. I've got Styles at 5 from one person, and with the 10th pick, Bain would be solid. Bain could be sliding. And what came out, obviously, with, I didn't, do a complete deep dive of it, but what's come out after the fact honestly feels like, the dirty nature of the draft. Somebody clearly wants him, and they release something they find out to get him to slide so they could take him. I'm not saying the Giants did that. I'm just saying it feels like that happens a lot. Remember the Laramie Tunsil stuff? That might have even been Laramie Tunsil trying to get himself to slide so he could go somewhere more desirable. But there is this. I have seen a little bit of this. Like, you gave up Dexter Lawrence. There's no way you're going to get the value of a Dexter Lawrence for the 10th overall pick. The only problem with that thought process, and it's not wrong, I'm just saying it's a little short-sighted because Dexter Lawrence was the 17th overall pick in the NFL draft. So not saying that just because he was picked 17th, the 10th overall pick is going to be better. It's just saying you could find value like that everywhere in the draft, specifically in the first round. 888-808-1019. Bobby in Rock. Oh, my fault. Jason in Fairlawn. Bobby, I didn't go to you yet, but Jason in Fairlawn.
Gallo, how are you, brother?
What's going on? My fault. I fat-fingered it, so I hit you.
No,
so
you're good.
You're on.
All good. Stoked Giants fan here. I am so excited, number one, to get rid of Dexter Lawrence, and two, to get the 10th overall pick. I think my personal viewpoint, the Giants, and really Harbaugh and Joe Shane, too, they should trade back both picks and really build those trenches up on both sides of the ball.
So you want to trade back at 5 and 10?
Yes.
And
get
this
additional
is
draft capital.
Uh-huh.
And one, I would trade 10 back and definitely try to get Caden McDonald. He's a monster, a double-team magnet.
Okay.
And two, if you could also get, I know it'd be risky, but if you could also get Peter Woods from Clemson to be that D tackle next to him, or go out.
So you're going two horses right off the back on the defensive line, two big boys.
Yes. Yep. And then on the offensive line, I would personally go and get Chase Besantis, who's at Texas A&M now, who subsequently went to my son's high school. So who's also a monster on the run blocking up front, and just build those trenches. That's how Harbaugh did it in Baltimore, and he's going to do follow the same recipe here in New York now.
Well, I appreciate the call, Jason. That's interesting. There's a chance maybe the Giants move out from 5 and they keep the 10th overall pick. That's the flexibility of what they have right now, because you don't need a quarterback. You also aren't desperate, in my opinion, for an edge rusher. Do you need to take a linebacker? You don't. You're not desperate. The only thing I'd say the Giants are truly desperate for, maybe it's center, and I would say a good shutdown, lockdown cornerback. But I don't know if that guy is here. I know the kid out of LSU. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know all of these players. A lot of the guys that were in the playoff, I know them. I watch Florida football and Rutgers football, so if they played them at some point this year, I'd probably maybe have a notion of it. But as far as me, the fan, I've been a Broncos fan, when I go into the draft, it's usually, there's guys I don't like. It's usually guys I don't like that, as long as they don't take those guys. And funny enough, Bo Nix was one of those guys. So how much do I actually know? But it's more the position. If they're taking a guy positionally and has the makeup, like, the caller just referenced Peter Woods at a Clemson defensive tackle. He's 6'2.5", 298. But then Caden McDonald is 6'2", plus he's like 325. So they're the same position, drastically different bodies. So sometimes that factors in how I view things. But they could trade back at 5. Because when you look at what's going early on in the draft, the Giants are certainly not taking one of these offensive tackles because you re-sign Jermaine Illuminor, you have Membo, and you hope that Andrew Thomas makes it through the season healthy. I know that's a big ask, but that's what you're hoping for. And I don't project injury. I hate to do it. One, I'm a little bit superstitious, so I don't want to do that. But also, these guys can get hurt doing anything, and a perfectly healthy player could get hurt walking the street. Like, you never know. So you hope that Andrew Thomas is healthy. You already have Jermaine Illuminor, so they're not taking a tackle. They're certainly not taking a quarterback, and there's only really one quarterback that's guaranteed to go in the first round. They don't have to take Jeremiah Love. They don't have to take one of the linebackers / edge rushers. They don't have to take a wideout. You could trade back 5 instead of 10 and get even more value. And I know the values are crazy. Like if the Giants traded like 10 and the 45th pick, it's overpay for the number 3. It's all convoluted, and they've now added this number total to each pick. But the Giants could move back at 5 and maybe get a later first round pick in this draft. Recoup a third round pick. I heard Gordon talk about this before, and I actually love the idea, which was trade back, get a third round pick that they don't have this year, because the Giants own they have the 5th, the 10th in the first round. They have the 37th pick in the second round. They don't have a third round pick. And then they have the 105th in the 4th and the 145, so on. They have 3 6-round picks. So maybe they trade back in the first round and they get a day 2 pick plus that late first round pick and maybe some stuff for the next year's draft. There is a ton of ways that they could go with this. They're not locked into anything. They certainly don't have to chase a quarterback, which at the end of the day is a huge win when you're a team drafting high in the draft, when you don't have to feel pressured. Like, look at the Jets. They're not going to take a quarterback at 2, but at 16, is there a chance they take Ty Simpson? I wouldn't rule it out. Now, if he is making it through, the best case scenario is the Jets get him at the beginning of the second round, but you can't rule out the possibility that they end up having to take a quarterback because they feel that pressure. The Giants don't have to worry about that this year. Bobby in Rockland, what's going on, Bobby?
How you doing?
I'm good,
Giants
man. How are you?
Football's back, baby. Giants football's back.
That's
great
right.
That's a great thing what they did. They're doing a great job. Harbaugh's doing awesome. You got a fullback, which we needed. We're going to pound the football. We have Scappo.
That's really what they were missing, was the fullback. I really think that was really what was holding the Giants back this year, was the lack of a fullback.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, no, but that's football. That's Giants football.
No, I know. I'm just laughing. And Bobby, I'm not, dude, I get it. Yeah. It was just funny. Like, they did all these great things this offseason. You're like, they got the fullback.
I love the fullback. Listen, football's one in the trenches. Football's one in the trenches.
It is, 100%. 100%.
And it's Sonny Styles. Take him at 5. We need a linebacker. We haven't had a serious leader since Antonio Pierce and just Jesse Armstead. And I think you could trade back 10. You give yourself options, which is big. And the other call is right. It's one in the trenches. You want to move back, and you want to take the line, interior line, defensive lineman. That's fine. But it gives you options. And it's great what he did. Dexter Lawrence was coming off a bad year. He wanted his money before. If he had another bad year, he wasn't getting it.
Right.
So
listen, and Bobby, great call. I can't knock him for wanting to get paid. I really can't. Specifically in the NFL, like, these guys, Dexter Lawrence has made a ton of money, so I'm not trying to act like he's poor, but you want to maximize your value while you got it. And he's not out of his prime. He's also probably closer to the end of his prime than the beginning of the prime now. He's 28. That's a physical position. You're at it every play. Yes, defensive tackles play a long time, but there's a difference between being what Dexter Lawrence once was and just being a rotational, formation type interior defensive lineman. Guys like Calais Campbell and Cam Jordan, these guys, not Cam Jordan more on the outside, but like a guy like Calais Campbell, who has been more of that modern interior defensive lineman. Yes, he was still playing last year, but it was more of a situational type situation. So, yes, Dexter Lawrence probably has a lot left in the tank, but at what caliber of player is that? So he wants to get paid, and I can't knock him for that. But I also can't knock the Giants for wanting to get rid of him, and for Giant fans not being upset he's gone. He's a great player. He's one of the best Giants of the last 20 years. Also, it seemed like he didn't want to be here. So you got the new head coach. You want to start things right. You don't want to go through year one and then have to deal with the headache of a disgruntled star in year two. So you rip the Band-Aid off this year. You got max value. And again, if Giants go out there and have a good year, but Dexter Lawrence struggled and they kept him, now his trade value is even worse next year. He's not a rental because the team knew they were signing him, and they're getting him for 2 years on this contract plus whatever his pay raise will be. 888-808-1019. Izzy and Linden, what's going on, Izzy?
Hey, how's it going? I just got 3 quick points. What the 2 callers ago mentioning trading the 5th and 10th.
Right.
I believe that's a horrible idea.
Okay.
Very horrible. You don't trade 2 top 10 picks. Second thing is, in regards to the poll you guys put out, it's Sonny Styles at 5 and Jordan Tyson at 10. If he's not there, then you trade out at 10.
Okay. Listen, you're a man with a plan, Izzy. I like it.
Lastly, I think Dex and the Giants became victim of Dexter's success. And what I mean by that is that he's a nose tackle, right? A 300-pound guy. I think he overachieved what he is physically in terms of the sack number when he had that monster year. He got his payday, but when he compares it against the league, it's probably not what he wanted. But you cannot pay a nose tackle $30 million. So
he's not.
He's not a sack guy. He's not.
But he's also Izzy. But he is also a guy that takes attention away from everyone else. Similar to a Chris Jones. Similar to Aaron Donald. Obviously,
he doesn't get sacked.
Yeah,
like
but we're 2 years removed from him playing 12 games and having 9 sacks. So it's not like
the expectation is that he's that guy, but he's not.
He was that guy though. I'm not
just 1 year.
No. He's been that guy. That's not Izzy. It wasn't just 1 year. Izzy. There's much more than just sack numbers. The stat, yes, the number of sacks he's gotten does not paint the picture of a pass rush. It doesn't.
I agree.
The guys around him. Do you think even in a bad year? But Izzy, and I appreciate the call, and I just don't want to yell over you. That's the only reason why I'm letting you go. Izzy. Do you think Brian Burns, and this isn't a bad year for Dexter Lawrence, do you think Brian Burns just did all that work by himself? Do you not think that having Dexter Lawrence alleviated that stress of him getting around the corner? That is what he is doing. And it is much more than just the official sack number. And yes, he's also had a 7.5 sack season for that position is phenomenal. He had 28 QB hits, 21 QB hits, and 16 in a 3-year span. That's phenomenal for that position. He's absorbing. And listen, this is one, I'm happy with the trade for the Giants. 2, I'm not minimizing what a Dexter Lawrence could be at the top of his game. Also, they didn't fall victim to it. He signed a 4-year deal. In 2 of those years, or in one of those years, he was great. In the other year, he struggled. It wasn't like they were paying him. They also were paying him $20 million against the cap. The Giants didn't fall victim to his success. He was successful. And then in year 2 of the contract, they traded him. The Giants weren't bad because of Dexter Lawrence. The Giants were bad because of improper coaching, terrible cap management before Dexter Lawrence even got his contract. But today is a celebratory moment for the Giants. They are moving on, yes, from a guy who was a staple with this franchise, was one of the faces of the franchise over the last 6 seasons. It's a guy that did not want to be here in year one of a Super Bowl winning head coach being hired. They didn't hire some young hotshot coordinator. They hired a guy with pedigree, a guy who's coached Hall of Famers, a guy who knows how to win. And yes, there are things that you could point to, the amount of times he's lost with the lead, the shortcomings in the playoffs, but he is there consistently. And he is going to build a culture. And you know what? I said it earlier. When you make this trade, and Izzy was praising the trade, so I don't want to. Izzy wasn't wrong what he was saying. I just didn't like how he's minimizing what Dexter Lawrence actually was. Today is the day that the John Harbaugh era really gets started. This is going to be the moment. It's not going to be signed Isaiah Likely. It's not going to be the cheesy quotes at the training facility at MetLife. It's going to be today. Yes, they had a great free agency. You bring in Tremaine Edmonds, you bring in Isaiah Likely, Darnell Mooney, Calvin Austin, all these guys. We could name them consistently. I've named them like 10 times tonight. But today is the day. You traded a guy that, yes, I think the fan base had gotten frustrated with because of what had just taken place the last 3 weeks. But he was a stalwart here. And you've ripped the Band-Aid off, and you were truly starting from a clean slate. You don't have to blow up the entire team to be a clean slate, but you get rid of a guy. Look at how hard it was, and it's been a failure right now. But for all intents and purposes, Pete Alonso didn't want to be back with the Mets. Let's just be honest. But look at how hard it was. He had multiple chances to sign, and this is not me hating on Pete. I love Pete. We'll love him forever. Look at how hard it is to make a change when you have guys. You're not winning. The Mets 1-0, and you get rid of stalwarts. John Harbaugh might not make the playoffs this year. And maybe you guys are going to turn around and be like, well, they should have never traded Dexter Lawrence, and he might have a great year. But he is truly starting from a clean slate. He doesn't have to worry. Jackson Dart is not an established Giant. He's in year 2. Malik Neighbors is the one guy, but why would you trade Malik Neighbors? He's one of the best wide receivers in sport. He's a young player who's on his rookie contract. But he doesn't have these veteran guys. Brian Burns is not getting traded after the year he just had, but he's also only been here 2 years. It's not like he is this face of the franchise, long-tenured Giant. So he's starting from scratch, and he's going to get to build this the way he wants. And if a player didn't want to be here like Dexter Lawrence, possibly now Paulson Adebo, you're put on notice because the coach just got rid of the star. You could be next. 888-808-1019. Chris in Asbury Park. What's going on, Chris?
G-Men, baby. Let's
go.
Thank God. Look, get him out. I love Dexter Lawrence. Going to be a very, very tough player to obviously replace, especially on the defensive line. But Darius Alexander got to step up in his place. Probably going to draft another defensive tackle. I mean, we have the 5th and the 10th pick overall. I mean, we could literally change our defense. I mean, we could go Sonny Styles at 5 or vice versa. Sonny Styles at 5 and then Caleb Downs at 10. I mean, we have a lot of options now.
Right.
I mean, this is huge. This is huge.
If you could go any direction, everything. You don't have to feel, and I appreciate the call, Chris, you don't have to feel like, oh, man, what are we going to do at quarterback? The Giants have to get the quarterback in this draft. You don't have to do that. You have the quarterback. You have a star wideout. You've added to a wide receiver room in free agency. You've added to the tight end room, which is another receiving option for the young quarterback in free agency. In the chat on YouTube, somebody suggests DJ Reader and Calais Campbell. Both guys, Calais Campbell obviously really getting up there in age, but you could bring both those guys in, this is what they're saying, for half the price combined than what Dexter will make next season. It's the truth. It is the truth. That's what I'm saying. And they're not going to be all pros, but they can do what you need them to do. Help in the run game, eat up that attention to free up space for Abdul Carter, for Kayvon Thibodeau, for Brian Burns. Also, if the Giants draft a pass rusher at 5, Could Kayvon Thibodeau be traded on draft day for the draft weekend for maybe a second day pick or a fourth round early third day pick? I don't think that's what they are going to do. I actually like the thought of if they take, like if you take Sonny Styles at 5, linebacker, you now don't feel like you have too much at pass rush. You have, I would say, just enough. You probably could use one more depth piece, but you have Thibodeau, you have Carter, you have Burns. You bring Sonny Styles to pair in with a Tremont Edmonds, sorry. You can go that route, and you don't have to get rid of a talented young player in Thibodeau. I also wouldn't hate it if they traded him. I am not one of these guys who just thinks he's untalented and not productive. I think I see the production. He's not the player you thought you were getting at the draft slot that you got him at, but he's on the last year of his rookie deal. He's probably not going to get paid gigantic money after that. So maybe he proves himself this year and you re-sign him, or he just proves himself this year and he goes elsewhere. You get the comp pick, but he was a good piece this year, and you figure out the rest of that pass rush next year. They have so many options, and I think that is why this trade kind of was a no-brainer. And I do feel like, even with Dexter Lawrence being the player he was, I do feel like the Bengals gave up a lot. I feel like the Giants win this trade. If the Bengals made this move prior to the Hendrickson departure, it wouldn't have felt as bad because it's like, all right, you're pairing Lawrence with Trey Hendrickson. But then he signs with the Ravens, and you're bringing in, I get it, you're desperate. You have Stewart, who you drafted last year, and now Dexter Lawrence, and you're desperate to improve that defense. But the Giants win that deal off the value you get at 10 alone. And because that could turn from 1 pick to 4 or 5 picks, or 1 pick in a late first-round pick and maybe a second or early third-day pick. So there's a lot of possibilities to go there. 888-808-1019. Jack at Albany. What's going on, Jack?
What's going on, Anthony? Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, thanks for calling, dude.
Season ticket holder here. I think it's a big win for the Giants. I mean, if you look at it, from the standpoint of what would he be worth a year from now, in terms of value, I think they were able to sell at peak value.
Well, and Jack, here's the thing is, they got peak value for him after his worst year as a pro.
That's exactly right, yeah. And, he's a disgruntled player who's probably going to continue to hang around. Giants didn't need to necessarily trade him, but, that drama was going to go into a training camp, so not really good for Harbaugh's first year. Yep. And, I think another thing to kind of consider is this is pretty good trade for, I don't know who, pulled the strings here, whether it was Harbaugh or Shane, but Shane's last couple of trades, including Burns, they haven't been too bad. So, give him a little credit, I think. But no, all good. I do like the lane from LSU at corner, but if nothing else, it's some value that they have that they can trade out of and just see what they can build around.
Yeah, Jack, it's not a bad idea. Again, Delane is the highest rated cornerback. I don't think, I'm trying to see who else. I guess there's a kid from Tennessee here, Jermod McCoy also, but he's slotted in the second half of the draft. I listen, they could go a cornerback at 10, and I'm not going to hate it because it's a position they need. Their biggest needs right now are, I would put cornerback number 1, interior offensive lineman, guard, most likely center as 2, and then, defensive tackle would be 3. But it's, what are those values to where you're picking? That's where I view it. Like, if you don't view specifically guard and defensive tackle as something you need to spend a top 10 pick on, then you don't take them there, and you take best player available. You take the best guy for your situation. At 10, maybe you take this kid out of LSU, the cornerback. Caleb Downs would be the pick I would go with if he's there. Obviously, these guys have to be there to be able to be taken, but if he's there, maybe I go Caleb Downs in that situation. There's so many options for this Giants team. And for John Harbaugh to take what was, yes, it's the storied franchise, it's the New York Giants, all of that, but to take what was not a pretty picture when it came to their cap space. And I think the Giants had a good base of a roster. So it wasn't like he was coming in having to build a roster that was void of talent. But to come in a situation where the cap situation was kind of, it was ugly. It was not great. And you've now not just maximized it in free agency, you were able to now get more assets in the trade, help your cap situation, and give yourself the opportunity to start clean and build this team the way you want. There's a lot coming this year, and the draft on Thursday is going to be super exciting. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, on Thursday, on the roof, 345 Hudson, right here, all the guys, it's going to be like 10 people, 11 people, watch party on YouTube for the draft night. It's going to be awesome. Loogie's going to be on the air as well, doing his thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. Giants fans, Jets fans, we get to have a lot of fun. And then it's the funny part of the draft is we have the draft. We all yell at each other. That was the bad pick, terrible pick. They blew it. They nailed it. And then we won't know. And then week one comes and the guy does like one wrong thing. And we're like, he's a bust. Get him out of here. Listen, and we heard reports Joe Shane might be out after the draft. Maybe Joe Shane spearheaded this. Who knows? 888-808-1019. A lot to get into. Knicks win game one. 113-102 over the Hawks. We'll get into that. We'll get into the Mets. We'll get into the Yankees. We'll continue the Dexter Lawrence conversation. All that on the Fan. Back after this.
Thursday, April 23rd, round one. Big Blue and Gang Green will be on the clock with futures at stake. Plus, New York heads down to Atlanta to take the court for a pivotal Game 3. A huge night in New York sports, and the FAN crew is getting together to party.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs and have some fun.
Boomer, Gio, Jerry, Evan, Tiki, and Morash, Carton, and McMonigal all crash the Fans rooftop here in Manhattan. And you can check them out streaming live on WFAN's YouTube, X, Facebook, and Instagram. From the penthouse at 345 Hudson Square Properties. Sponsored in part by Sloman's. Save on AC today. Spiked Aid. Sports drink flavors spiked. And your home for everything New York sports. WFAN.
The Lease Full Ahead event is on at Nielsen Dodge.
Get out of your current lease early and get into a new vehicle.
Don't wait for your lease to end. Upgrade now. We have hundreds of new Jeeps, Chryslers, Dodges, and Rams to choose.
Lease a new 2026 Jeep Wrangler 4-door Sport S 4x4, just $259 a month.
On Route 10 in East Hanover. Online at nielsendodge.com.
Declaration of Deals Sales Event. With approval term 24 months, due at sign 8104, add tax tag 498 doc fee and DMV fee. See dealer for details.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
In digital advertising, everyone talks about clicks, but clicks don't pay the bills. Sales do. Outcomes from Viant is a new way to advertise that prioritizes your bottom line. Our AI-driven technology looks past the noise to find the customers most likely to buy your product. It's smarter, faster, and designed for real-world results. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
The Rico Brogna podcast is proudly sponsored by Takara Fuji Apple Chew High, the sparkling cocktail that blends shochu spirits with delicious flavors of fruits from Japan. Whether it's Citi Field or your favorite spot, raise the apple.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
The all-new 2026 Mazda CX-5 is designed to give you more of what matters. More passenger space and headroom for greater comfort. More cargo space, a lower lift-in height, and a standard power liftgate on every model. More connectivity with Google built-in integration, plus Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Balancing style, advanced technology, and craftsmanship in a family-friendly SUV that delivers exceptional value. Get more with the all-new 2026 Mazda CX-5, the smart choice. Visit your local Mazda dealer or MazdaUSA.com.
Town Fair Tire, the area's largest independent name brand tire dealer, sells any Continental tire you choose at the guaranteed lowest price. And Town Fair gives you the most free services for life on your Continental tires. So if you're searching for the best price and the most free services for life on Continental tires, get a Town Fair Tire, because nobody beats a Town Fair Tire deal. And I mean nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
At NYU Langone Health, we know there really is no place like home. That's why we get our surgery patients home faster and have fewer readmissions than any other health system. That means once you're home, you won't need to go back for the same procedure. Instead, you can get back to the things you love. And the next time you need something else, we're here. Better health starts with a better health system. Learn more at nyulangonehealth.org.
Your official home to talk New York sports is WFAN. Call us anytime at 888-808-1019. The Fan, 1019 FM, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Oh, 1036. WFAN, Anthony Gallo right here. New York City. The Knicks win. Pandemonium outside the Garden. As always, the Gen Zers are partying it up. And then tomorrow we'll get, after the reaction to the Dexter Lawrence stuff, we'll get the Knicks fans are just overdoing it. No, we just like to have fun. Just because your fan base doesn't have fun, we like to have fun. Go overseas and watch how they treat their sports. It's fun. You know, you want to wear a shirt and tie to a game, you do that. Although, lack of shirts outside the Garden right now. But back to the Dexter Lawrence stuff. Here is, and I didn't know this, I'm not going to lie, but on Twitter, Big John Stud tweeted at me, remember the Giants traded Beckham, and that's how they got Lawrence with his pick return. So that is a good point by him, and I'm looking it up right now. The draft compensation, they got the 17th overall pick in the 2019 draft and the 2019 third-round pick and Jabril Peppers. And they turned that Odell first-round pick that they traded for in the Dexter Lawrence. So for those of you out there saying you can't trade Dexter Lawrence and expect to get value, the same value of player at 10, it's just not true. It doesn't mean they will, but it's not true. Especially when, like in this situation, you traded a guy and then we were able to draft Dexter Lawrence, who might have been better at his position than Odell was at his. You know, that's how good Dex was at times. But also, the 17th overall pick, that was Dexter Lawrence. So you're telling me there isn't a chance, whether they trade back or not, that they could get a guy at 10 that could potentially turn into the same level of pro that Dexter Lawrence was? It's a good day for the Giants. Giant fans should be excited. 888-808-1019. Jacob in Ithaca, as I just knock over my water. Oh, it was closed, so we're good. Jacob in Ithaca, what's going on?
Hey, bud, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm well. I was wondering, Well, you kind of brought it up a little bit. Like, he had Carter, Thibodeau, and Burns. They signed him to the Bengals. It's one of the worst defenses in football. He's not going to fix that defense.
No. And
so are they just sending him to, like, quote unquote, die?
No. Jacob, I think that was the best offer they probably were going to get. And the Bengals probably view themselves as they don't need much. Like, they probably think their defense needs to be fixed, and they lost Trey Hendrickson. They have Shamar Stewart, who they drafted, I think it was last year, and they probably think that Dexter Lawrence is going to make up for a lot of what they lost in Trey Hendrickson. And I think he's a better player than Trey Hendrickson, but he's not fixing.
Oh, he's a better player. Do you think there was any spite in that, though?
No. Well, if the Giants operate in that way, then they're not doing right by the franchise and their fans. If they're operating to send somebody away to spite them and not get the best value, so I don't think so.
Well, you got good value.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't think there was a better trade out there, and I appreciate the call, Jacob. I don't. Let's see what the Bengals did in free agency. Yeah, I don't. I'll put it this way. Has it happened before? Sure. Do I think that the Giants traded Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals because they wanted to spite him? No. I think they wanted to keep Dexter Lawrence. And they probably negotiated with him. You can't just give somebody a blank check. And he walked. He said, I don't want it. I want out. And they traded him. And kudos to them acting fast, because it came out this week. I think it was Thursday after the Yankee game that Dexter Lawrence wanted out. He was done with the Giants. They acted fast, and they went and got him. I mean, they went and got rid of him. The Bengals signed Jonathan Allen, who's a good defensive player, and Brian Cook. So they signed three, top-end defensive guys. They got Boy May from the Seahawks, Brian Cook from the Chiefs, and then for the Vikings, they got Jonathan Allen, a little bit of a veteran presence there. So it's not like they're devoid of talent. So you're pairing Lawrence with Mafe and Stewart from a year ago, their draft pick. And actually, let me double check that, because I am 90% sure. Yes, Shamar Stewart. He is a Bengal. All right, I nailed it. I was totally confident there. Ironically enough, also the 17th overall pick in his draft. Do I think the Giants fleeced the Bengals? No. Do I think they won the trade? Yes. Do I think the Bengals acted a little desperately? The same way we're saying the Giants could have traded back and they can get, whether it's I'm just picking the position-wise, Peter Woods out of Clemson, or a name that we've heard a lot tonight, Caden McDonald, both interior defensive linemen later in the first round. Yeah, they could have done the same thing. And they went after the stud. But I also think their window is shorter to compete for a Super Bowl. The Giants' window for the Super Bowl hasn't even begun yet, if it ever will. But the hope is with Harbaugh and everything he's doing, it will. For the Bengals, they have to go for it, because if they continue to struggle, and let's say they Burrow stays healthy, they probably view themselves as a Super Bowl contender. Like, they're in that room saying, we have the offensive weapons. We've added to the defense. We brought in 3 free agents on defense. We've now traded for Dexter Lawrence. In the second round, they still have their second-round pick. So they're probably thinking, this is how we attack in the best way possible to maximize Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase's window. 888-808-1019. Scott in Hamilton, what's going on, Scott?
What up, Gallo?
What's going on, dude?
Much, man. I gotta get up there and bring you some more ribs soon.
Oh, I'm down. Oh, what's going on, Scott?
Oh yeah. No, it's me, man. What's up, bro?
How are you?
Listen, I'm ecstatic that Lawrence is gone and what they got for him, because all the reports I was reading was that the Browns sent them the best pick with the second, round pick. But to the point, that guy that just called up about, did they do this maliciously to Lawrence because of it?
Right. No,
if that was the case, they would send him to Oakland. If that was the case.
Well, right. And the thing is, if they did that, you're a Giants fan. If they did that, would you be happy? No. Because now you're trading a guy not to get better. You're trading a guy just to spite him. That's not really doing your best job.
No, and And the whole thing is getting the 10th overall, which honestly, I didn't think Cincinnati was going to do this. But getting the 10th overall pick, you can do so much now where you don't have to trade at a 5th if you wanted to get more picks. You could use that 10th now to actually build up more holes that the Giants have.
Right.
So it's a great move.
They could do it in any facet. They could trade 5, stay at 10. They could pick at 5, trade 10. They could pick at 5 and 10. It's a great position to be in, Scott. Thank you for the call. Scott, I think it was 2 years ago, brought a bunch of ribs up here, and they were phenomenal. And I will never say no to free food. It's probably going to kill me one day, but I will never say no. If it's free, it's for me. What's the dad joke? I'm on a seafood diet. Seafood, and I eat it.
I mean, also the dad joke is if it's free, it's for me as well.
Is it? Well, I just nailed it. Double dad joke.
It's the double dad joke. That's a classic dad joke. Yeah. If it's free, it's for me. And then, of course, I'm on a seafood diet. I seafood.
Yeah.
Of course.
Jack, you're a Giants fan. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with all the callers. I mean, this is a great win for the Giants, getting 2 first-round picks and getting a first-round pick in addition to our own first-round pick. I mean, like, if I'm a Bengals fan, I feel like I have more different mixed emotions about it. As a Giant fan, it's like, okay, 2 first-round picks. Go get defensive players. I love the idea of getting Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs. I love those 2 players from Ohio State.
Are you? You're not an Ohio State fan, right?
No, not really. I watched them play a lot of football this year. I like those players. But like as you said before, I also agree that there's a lot of things they can do with these picks.
Right.
They can take the 10th pick and move down to get additional picks. You can take the 5th pick, move down. There's a lot of possibilities. But the fact that I love is we got Dexter Lawrence on a first round pick for him.
Right, exactly. Off his worst year. So the census is clear. Most Giant fans, there's been a few that have hated it. I've seen people online crush it. And if you're a Bengals fan, to your point, there probably are mixed emotions. I'm sure there are some Bengal fans that are happy about what took place today because they feel like they're maximizing their window.
Yeah.
And Adam Schefter tweeted this. Obviously, it's not that crazy, but the Giants and the Jets own 25% of the first 16 picks in this year's draft. So the entire draft in the first round, probably in the first 2 rounds, because a lot of what happens in the first round is going to be dictated by those picks, but a lot of what happens in this draft is going to be controlled by the Jets and the Giants, because we obviously know who's going at 1 in Fernando Mendoza. So this is an amazing moment here. And Schefter also with this tweet. This is the first time a player has been traded without any additional compensation for a haul that included a top 10 pick in that year's draft since the Vikings traded Randy Moss to the Raiders in 2005 in exchange for a haul that included the 7th overall pick. Well, it wasn't really a haul. It's just Dexter Lawrence for the 10th overall pick. But I get what he's saying. It's that year's draft traded for a pick that high. Bob in Yonkers, what's going on, Bob? You're on the Fan.
Hey.
What's going on, sir?
Well, I'm responding that, I kind of agree that this seems like a really good move. I had a little concern, but, I'm kind of been following the Giants for a number of years.
Right.
And it reminds me of Ralph Kiner, who used to be the announcer for the Nets.
Pirates, great.
He played for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right.
And one year he hit 52 home runs, and he went in and he said, I should get a big raise because I hit 52 home runs. And the Pirates said, we finished in last place with you. We can finish in last place without you. Now, didn't the Giants against the run, aren't they 31 out of 32 teams with Dexter Lawrence?
I have to look that up and confirm that, but I am sure it was not great.
Yeah.
And are you saying in his overall tenure or last year?
Well, I'm thinking of last year, and they had trouble with the run, and he was there. So why pay him a boatload of money when you can't do any worse against the run with him? So it's great they're getting this pick, but I certainly hope Harbaugh is making the pick, not Shane, because I don't want another Thibodeau and Evan Neal as the picks.
Well,
when he had 5 and
so
7.
Bob, you were right. We just looked it up. The Giants were second to last in, and I appreciate the call. They were second to last in rush defense last year. Ironically, the Bengals right behind them as the worst team overall rush defense wise. But they also, I don't think that they are, like he said, I'm not blaming that all on Dexter Lawrence. A lot of it is, but I'm not blaming that all on Dexter Lawrence. But to your point, using the Ralph Kiner example, they could lose with you. We could lose without him. It was kind of similar, and Met fans are going to hate this. I love Jacob deGrom, but when he left, it was like we had been in the playoffs once with deGrom, and it wasn't his fault, but it was like we could lose without him. We could lose with him. Right now, I can't really look back on what the Mets did this offseason and feel any good about it because of how much of a disaster it's been. So it doesn't really play in that one. But again, for the Giants, you can lose with them. You can lose without them. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of losing without them. And to the people that, are now questioning the shtick that, as I'm getting a text from the great Paul Rosenberg, light on the great there, saying that so much for the Harbaugh culture shtick. Well, this is part of building a culture. You want guys here who want to be here. 888-808-1019. Giant fans, let's go back to you. Mike in Rockland, what's going on, Mike?
How we doing?
I'm good. How you doing, Mike?
I'm great. I went to my first Knicks game tonight.
Oh, you were at the Garden tonight?
Oh, yes, I was.
Is that, and you said that was your first Knicks game, like, ever?
Ever. First time in the Garden. Ever.
That's good for you, Mike. That's awesome, dude. You might have just sold yourself a little. You might have went in there and set the standard too high because you go to a Knicks playoff game as your first experience, and now if you're going to like a regular season game next year, it's not going to live up to it.
Listen, I'm happy because I'm sitting there with cheering, and then I hear Dexter Lawrence, the guy with the New York Giants tattoo on his arm that's complaining. He wants out. He's gone. He's out of here. We got the 10th pick. I'm happy. I'm riding high. I'm good.
Mike, I hear it in the voice.
Bye-bye.
Mike, how was the vibes at the Garden tonight?
Oh, it was great. We were loud. We were cheering. We were saying the whole Trae Young chant no matter what, even though he's gone. But it was great. It was great.
That's awesome, Mike. That's awesome, dude. I've obviously been to a ton of Knicks games. I've been to the Garden a lot. I got to go to a Knicks playoff games, and I appreciate the call. Just a little bit of noise back there, so I'm going to let you go. It's a depressing game, but I went to Game 5 against the Hawks in 2021, and Trae Young doing the bow, all of that. But the first, quarter and a half was fantastic. Life-changing sports experience. And tonight it sounded loud. The Garden sounded loud. I will say this. I know Mike was having some fun. We got to let the Trae Young chant go. I can't go to a Braves-Mets game this year and hear F. Trae Young. I can't do it. He's gone. He had one moment at the Garden. Otherwise, all he's done is lose to the Knicks. We can let it go. We'll put it to rest after they beat the Hawks in 4 games in this series. Maybe it'll be a gentleman's sweep. We could put it to rest and move on and focus on bigger, better things. 888-808-1019. And Trae Young can enjoy Washington. I actually don't even dislike Trae Young. He was a killer, but he wasn't. I didn't grow up, I was too young to really hate Reggie Miller in that way. I can't stand him, but it's more because of his announcing. But when I look at the numbers, yes, he had that moment. They lost the series, but he never really had that great success against the Knicks that you guys all make it seem like. And Trae Young's another one of these guys. You know who a Knicks killer is? Tyrese Halliburton. That guy haunts my dreams. Gabe Vincent is more of a Knicks killer than Trae Young has been over the last 3 seasons. Gabe Vincent with the Heat, haunts my dreams as well. Him and Max Strus. 888-808-1019. But good vibes tonight. The Mets can't bring us down. Yankees put up double digits. The Knicks take game 1. The Giants get Dexter Lawrence off the books. They bring in a first-round pick, 10th overall. It's a good night. The Liberty signed the big 3. New York's looking up. 888-808-1019. Tommy in Ridgefield. What's going on, Tommy?
Hey, how we doing, Ant?
How are we doing, Tommy? Let me hear it.
Oh, we're here. Just want to say I can't believe they got a 10th pick for Dex.
Right.
I don't know what they're going to do with it, whether they're going to move it, whether they're going to use it. I still think I think they got to take Sonny Styles at number 5.
Right. And then what? All right, so let's say they take Styles at 5. What do you want to do at 10 then? You don't have to give me a player. You can just tell me a position.
If God forbid he's there, I think you take Mekhi Lemon from USC.
Oh, okay, the wideout. All right, I don't hate it. I mean, I think he would be there. I think you could even maybe trade back.
If that was the end of day 1, I would be like swimming in my boots.
Well, I mean, you have to be excited right now, Tommy. Great call, dude. Is swimming in my boots a saying? That's what he said, right? I'd be swimming in my boots.
He did say that. I have never heard of that, but it could be an expression.
Let's look it up. Swimming in my boots. Generally, no. It just pops up. Swimming in boots, generally difficult to add into it.
I don't know.
I don't think it's a saying, but I like it. Let me see if is there one here. Shaking in your boots has popped up. I don't know, but I like it.
Well, shaking in my boots is obviously like.
Where is that a positive? Swimming in my boots? I feel like if you have water in your shoes, it's a bad situation.
I feel like he was trying to say something else, but it like just said it.
I like it. That's where we're at.
No, that's how happy he is.
Everyone's so happy.
Swimming in my boots.
I've done it before. I say a lot of things that aren't actually sayings, and they sound good, I guess.
It happens.
Swimming in my boots, I'll take it. We're going to make it a thing now.
Exactly.
888-808-1019. Oh, we have a Bengals fan. Ralph in Marlboro. What's going on, Ralph?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Hey, listen, very good, man. So, a little different angle here.
Right.
Lifelong Bengal fan here from Brooklyn, now in Jersey. And I actually think this is one of those win-win kind of a trades. I mean, I think, me being close to the Bengals and follow them.
Right.
Number one, we don't really have a great history of drafting. Other than Burrow and Chase, our first-round picks historically are pretty bad. So we're really happy on our side of the ball here.
Right. I mean, listen.
And, again, you
lose Trey Hendrickson, but you add on the defensive free agency. You added Shamar Stewart last year in the draft, and we just looked it up. The Giants and the Bengals were the 2 worst run defenses in the league, and you add another guy to that defensive line. Even if you think the price tag is too much, it is still, it's not you didn't trade for an over-the-hill superstar.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you think about it, the Bengals, the way that they're constructed, they don't need a top 10 defense. You just need a 14 to 18 kind of defense with that offense. And I know the Giant fans were down on Sexy Dexy, but I believe if you look at stats last year, when he was on versus when he was off the field, when he was on, the Giants are probably in the top 10, top 12 in a lot of different, categories. So,
right. And
again, listen, I definitely think it's a win-win situation. Did we overpay? Maybe.
But sometimes you do that.
And again, I'm sure
you're also in a window, Ralph, where you're not looking at 5 years from now. You're trying to win right now with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Agreed. I couldn't agree more with that. And, I said, as a Bengal fan, watching this franchise, how they operate over the last couple of years, this is a big deal for us. They don't really trade up. Maybe I think they did it once with John Carter many years ago, or trading picks away. And in my opinion, guys, I think they felt the top defensive guys they were looking for were not going to be there at 10. So I think this makes a lot of sense.
Ralph,
and
you should be happy. Just because we're up against it, I got to let you go, Ralph. Great call. Listen, it's a good day. Obviously, we're not in Cincinnati, so I do think they overpaid a little bit. But to Ralph's point, it is still a win-win. Dexter Lawrence is a super talented player. He didn't want to be here. Good riddance. 888-808-1019. Anthony Gallo on the Fan until 1 a.m. The great E.J. Stewart following me after that. Stay tuned. We got a lot more to get to. Knicks, Dexter Lawrence, the draft, the Yankees, the disaster that is the New York Mets, all right here on the Fan.
It's Evan and Tiki, middays on the Fan, 101.9 FM.
Carlos Mendoza, who is getting a ton of heat from Met fans, rightfully so, and he knows, and I know, and we all know, if they don't turn it around, he's gone. Yeah. Like, he's not going to survive a bad start into June and July. The Mets are going to fire their manager.
Get Evan and Tiki on demand. Available on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and the free Odyssey app.
Henley Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. 'Cause Birdie told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust a Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Nothing but net. Nice shot. Man, I miss playing basketball. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
Lower testosterone?
Yeah, men just lose their edge after 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
Nugenix, the testosterone booster.
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula. It skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours and boosts your body's free and total testosterone in just 2 weeks. Since I started taking it, my energy is way up. I feel like I did back when we played for Coach Mac, and it's even spiced things up with my wife.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text BLING to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text BLING to 215-215. That's BLING to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, it's Alicata here for CertaPro Painters. I've been spending a lot more time at home lately, and my home is a happy place, especially when my wife is happy. For me, sometimes that can be challenging. But my friends at CertaPro Painters, they had no such problems. Big jobs or small, the good folks at CertaPro Painters are at your service. If you've been putting off a painting project, give them a call now at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with a C, and you'll see exactly what I mean. 1-800-GO-CERTA. And hey, ask about their spring sales event and get 10% off on qualifying projects.
Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in our community. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com.
Hey everyone, Boomer Esiason here. I've spent years on the field learning what really matters most: reliability, consistency, and trust. That's why I love Red Pocket Mobile. You choose from 3 major 5G networks. Plans start at just $10 a month and stay there. Plus real customer care answers in under 2 minutes. Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
Texting and driving? Big risk, big consequences. You risk traffic tickets, fines, and if you crash and injure someone, you could even go to prison. Pay attention or pay the price. Brought to you by the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Breaking news for your home. Wayday. Wayfair's big sale is almost here, and you can score the best deals in home. Like up to 80% off everything home. Yes, you heard that right. 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Wayday long. We're talking outdoor furniture and essentials, rugs, and more. All at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Wayday. Shop Wayfair's Wayday from April 25th through 27th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
The home of Yankees radio is WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station. Get connected with WFAN to talk about your favorite teams. The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
I wish we would have had a camera on Jack just now. 888-808-1019. The vibes are immaculate right now. The Knicks win. They take care of business tonight. The Giants make a big move. The Yankees have an amazing offensive day, and the Mets are the Mets. Real quick, before we get back into the Dexter Lawrence calls, I just, in the commercials, I was listening to some stuff on X, and I see the quote, CJ McCollum, if you didn't watch the Knicks game, there was a shot where McCollum kind of faded. I think it was a mid-range shot, might have been a three. He's kind of fading as he's turning. He kicks his leg out. Maybe it's his true shooting motion. I think CJ McCollum's a great player, so I don't want to really knock his game. But he kicked Jalen Brunson in the no-no zone. He kicked him in the jewels, in the precious, stones. And Brunson goes down, as we all would. And then afterwards, CJ McCollum has the nerve to say he flopped. And it's like, buddy, it's a nationally televised, nationally streamed, whatever. The cameras are on. There's footage of this, right? Like, your foot hitting his groin is on camera. And it is, we saw it. You kicked him in the nuts. It is what it is. And he's like, well, I can't wait to get my money back because he obviously get fined for the flagrant. Dude, you're not. That is also the rule. You can't kick your leg out anymore. You can't do the old Paul Pierce leg kick to get the foul. And you kick them in the worst spot you could kick somebody, specifically a man. So I thought that was funny. As we, we're traveling a huge journey here. Again, I couldn't find anything about swimming in my boots, as that guy said last break. So if you have ever heard that, please explain. Somebody said trench foot in the chat. And swimming in my boots is diabolical. You would sink. Yes. 888-808-1019. Maybe it was a New York thing. Swimming in your Timbs. I don't think that ever happens, but I do like the memes when it's like New Yorkers on vacation and it's a guy in a hoodie and Timbs and a Yankee fitted standing on the beach. 888-808-1019. Back to the calls at hand. Ryan in Virginia. What's going on, Ryan?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Not too bad.
So what do you want to talk about?
I was just thinking about the Dexter Lawrence trade specifically. And I was just frustrated because he was asking for like $30 million a year. Right. And he was looking at like Chris Jones numbers. And don't get me wrong, like he was doing that like a year or two ago. But he didn't earn it the year before going into this contract year.
But
so I was just
I appreciate the energy, Ryan. I really appreciate you keeping the bar high there. I don't know if he ate an edible and he sat on hold too long. Let's bring the energy up a bit. But I mean, he's asking for money. The cap went up. It's his right. It's his God-fearing American right as a country full of capitalists to ask for more money. The cap went up. That's what players do. He's not here. Giants win. He wins. Bengals win. Everybody's happy. Giants probably win. Well, I guess Dexter wins the most because he's going to get paid, and that's guaranteed he's going to get paid. Everybody wins, and maybe the Giants did the most winning and will do the most winning on the actual field. Kenny in White Plains. What's going on, Kenny?
Hi, Anthony.
What up, Kenny?
Hello. Yeah, but listen, the Giants got 5-10. I say go Love and wide receiver or go Love and offensive lineman. And we got to start looking now because Melendez and Love were pretty good offenses. They're not going to go in the first round, but
right, Eddie, right.
Find a sleeper with Indiana and Notre Dame offensive linemen. Let's take a look at them in the second, third, fourth round. Those guys, some of those guys have to be good. There has to be a sleeper over there somewhere,
right?
And I people don't look at it that way, but that's how I look at it. And no trading down. Come on, people are trying to sound like they're Albert Einstein. Let's see this. You got the 5th and 10th pick. You go for the gusto. And we used to say, remember we used to say, Anthony, take the best available athlete. But today, I don't trust this scout. Today, the scouts look at the cover of Sports Illustrated. That's who the first pick in the draft is.
Right.
So I think love in a wide receiver or love in an offensive lineman. That's the way the Giants have to go. They're reshaping this thing. Listen. Lawrence was not playing good. If you play nose tackle or defensive tackle, and you stop the run, and you just lose a little bit, of that strength, a little of that gusto, you're going to get the offensive line is going to manhandle you. You know what I'm saying? So the Giants.
Eddie, I appreciate the call, Eddie. But I mean, I guess I don't think that's really how it goes right now. They're not looking at the front of sports. Also, who's looking at Sports Illustrated anymore? Who? What year is it? You can't say, remember when we used to say best available player? And now they just look at the cover of Sports Illustrated. Well, no, they don't. Come on. They might not be good at evaluating talent. That's not how they do it. And the best available player available is most likely going to be a defensive player. Maybe it's Jeremiah Love. And then you have to decide, is that where you want to, allocate your assets? Billy in Ridgewood, what's going on, Billy?
Hey, how you doing, man? I got to agree with that last guy a little bit, at least. Jeremiah Love's going to make our defense better because we'll be able to run the ball.
Right.
We haven't been able to run the ball in how long?
But, listen, and Billy, you know what? I'm not really going to kill them if they take him there. It's just, is that where you see with the talent lining up on the draft board, if he's there, there's reports that the Titans are in love with him. Is that where you want to allocate these assets when you might be able to get just as talented a player in the second or third round?
Yeah, but I don't know if there is. This guy is special, and the fact that we have a quarterback that loves to run the ball himself, maybe this will make him, stay upright a little bit more and stay healthy.
Well,
because we have a guy like that.
And to be fair,
I don't
Billy,
think we have anybody else that good.
And Billy, to be fair, it's not like Jeremiah Love is just a running back. He catches the ball well. He is a guy who could be an asset in many places. And I would say since they have 5 and 10, you could take Love at 5. And then at 10, take a defensive player. And it's not like you're hurting yourself.
Best defensive guy available. Get the best corner available. Get whoever. If Styles and Downs aren't there, there's a couple of really great corners that, of course, we need some secondary help. So
100%, Billy, 100%. And it's the truth. You could get somebody there as well. Again, that's what I was saying earlier in the show. The Giants are in a position that they could take anything. They could do anything. And you can't really push back on it. I guess, again, drastically, if you really wanted to be technical, if they took Ty Simpson at 5, I'm sure we'd all be mad. There isn't a single thing here. They're not doing that. I'm just trying to show you how little there is that a negative outcome is going to be the outcome from this draft. At least initially, on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday, on the 3 days of the draft. They can take Jeremiah Love at 5. There is literally nothing that they are desperate for that you would be taking at 5. They don't need an offensive tackle. They're not desperate for an edge rusher. You could add an edge rusher. They're not desperate for a linebacker. You could add a linebacker in Sonny Styles. They're not desperate for a wide receiver. Secondary, sure, but I don't think a guy is going in the top 5 if it's not Caleb Downs, and he might be available at 10. So what exactly is any of these things that would hurt from taking Jeremiah Love? That was like oversimplification, simple way to say that, but Jeremiah Love could be the best offensive player in this draft. The Giants, again, are not desperate at any position. Yes, they do not have a great secondary. They did just lose an interior defensive lineman. They're not taking one at 5. You could take Love at 5, trade back at 10, and get one of these interior defensive linemen, or the guy Allen at a Georgia, the linebacker, who I have seen play a few this year, and I actually really liked him. Until the Broncos traded that pick late in the first round, I actually was excited for that level of player, a C.J. Allen, late in the first, linebacker out of Georgia. But I like just going through the mock drafts, there's about 3 or 4 interior defensive linemen that are mocked at the end of the first round, from like 22 to 30. So they could trade back there. And again, these mock drafts, it's all I have to go off of it right now. It is not concrete. We never come close. Most of these mock drafts are never close to being right. Trades and you know, all it takes is one team to jump up and do something drastic to completely throw the whole first round off. Some of the people in the chat, James in the YouTube chat, Giants got to trade down from 10, add another second, and take McDonald in the early 20s. Lou Boogie says Styles and Downs would make the sting of losing Dex feel much better. And one last person said the Giants are getting love. So it's all over the place. This is the fun part of the draft. As somebody whose team, for a long time, every draft it was, how are they getting their QB? How are they getting their QB? How are they getting their QB? And look at the Jets right now. They're not necessarily going through that because we know they're not getting a quarterback at 2. But there's that level of how are they getting the quarterback? The Giants don't have that pressure. You have Jackson Dart already drafted. You have Malik Neighbors at wideout. If you didn't get Jeremiah Love, you have Scadaboo and Tracy at running back. In the receiver room, if you didn't want to go for one of these receivers early on, you have Malik Neighbors, you have Isaiah Likely, you have Theo Johnson, Darnell Mooney, and the guy from Pittsburgh, Calvin Austin, who I like. I think he's going to be a player for these Giants. I think he's going to be one of these surprise guys on the Giants. Defensively, you don't need an edge rusher. You have Burns, you have Carter, you have Thibodeau. And guess what? If you do take an edge rusher, you could trade Kayvon Thibodeau for draft capital. And it's all coming together. This is the fun. Again, the one thing, glaring thing for me, if I am looking at the Giants, it's cornerback. So maybe at 10, they take one of these corners. That's the one position of need. They're probably not addressing it in the first round, though. 888-808-1019. And I guess Caleb Downs alleviates some of that pressure because even though he's not a corner, he's a safety. He adds, if you have a lesser corner, he does give you help over the top. And he really transformed. Not that they didn't have a ton of talent, but he was really the key cog, in my opinion, in that Ohio State defense. Sean in Seaford Heights. What's going on, Sean?
Oh, hey, what's up? How's it going, Ed? I just wanted to talk to you about how the Giants, honestly, I feel like for the last 20 years, they've been able to draft defensive tackle, and then they let them walk when they want more money. And it's been happening over and over again since Barry Cofield. You got Linval Joseph, Dalvin Thomason, and the names just keep going. And you're telling me we got a 10th pick for that? Like, sign me up, man.
Yes. And listen, you're right, Sean. And I will say this. Joe Shane has struggled in the draft at times. It hasn't been all bad. Last year was a good draft for the Giants. They just,
I love Joe Shane in the draft. I really do. I mean, I think he's got a really good eye for talent, but when it comes to free agency, he's a little bit tougher. I think John Harbaugh is going to really help him with that. I think they'll be a good team, but with the 10 pick, I mean, like trading down from the 10 pick is really, really interesting. Hopefully they can get that done. But I think if you come out of the draft with 2 out of Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, or Mansour Delane, or trading down, I don't think you can lose that draft.
Right, and I appreciate the call, Sean. Going through the drafts, I mean, Joe Shane's drafts have not been great, but they also haven't been all bad. I mean, last year you get Carter, you get Dart, you get Scadaboo, you get Embu. The prior draft, you got Malik Neighbors, Drew Phillips, and Tyler Newman, and Theo Johnson and Tyrone Tracy. That's a good draft. The year after was bad. Banks, Michael Schmidt, Gray. That's a bad draft. I mean, the year prior to that, again, not the greatest, but a draft that had Kayvon Thibodeau, Wan'Dale Robinson, Cordell Flott, Daniel Bellinger, and Micah McFadden. So it hasn't been all terrible. And for Harbaugh, I mean, we could go through some of his drafts as well. I actually, at the time, really loved the draft they had with Malachi Starks, Mike Green, and Emory Jones last year. I remember walking away liking it. It didn't turn out as well, but again, it's 1 year. You're not getting the entire, breakdown of 1 year to really. You really got to take 2-3 seasons before you start to see if a draft class is good or not. But he's at 2022. He drafted Kyle Hamilton and Tyler Linderbaum in the first round. That's an excellent draft. He's had his drafts, just going through it fairly quickly, he's had very good drafts. There's a lot of talent in these drafts. A lot of talent that, he was a guy who took Zadarius Smith in the 4th round. I'm just looking at some of his steals. He took Jermaine Illuminor in the 5th round. And Mark Andrews was a 3rd-round pick. There's a lot. He was able to find talent in multiple rounds. And again, I'm not saying Joe Schoen is an excellent drafter. I am saying that I don't think he is completely useless when it comes to his ability to add talent to his teams. I think Joe Schoen's biggest downfall was the decisions he made to keep and not keep players. That was his biggest downfall. Ozzie Newsome was the general manager, one of the best general managers in all footballs, maybe ever in the history. He's one of the best. I make the argument he's a top 10 GM from 2002 to 2018. He was the GM of the Ravens. He's still with them. I think he's like a VP of player personnel. So John Harbaugh got to work with him. John Harbaugh got to pick his brain, and you learn from a guy like that. So who's to say that, the talents that Joe Schoen has, if he survives, there's reports he may not survive the draft. I've heard Pat Leonard kind of say something similar to that. We had Nikki Gist on earlier in the week with Craig and Chris. She said the same thing. So there are some reports that there could be changes after the draft, and we've seen it before where GMs go through the draft process just because they've spent the entire time scouting to help a new coach along, and then when the draft is over, they are gone. And then there's moments like, Phil Jackson giving one last FU to Knicks fans and drafted Frank Ntilikina before he retired. I think that there is a lot of positives here. First positive, you have John Harbaugh. Second positive, you have Malik Nabers and Jackson Dart. Third positive, you have Brian Burns. Fourth positive, you have now started. We could go through this. I'm just having some fun here, but you now get to start the John Harbaugh era with a clean slate. And this is going to be, if the Giants go on to win a Super Bowl with Harbaugh as head coach, we're going to look back to this moment and say this is where it all really began. Paul in Memphis, Tennessee. What's going on, Paul?
Oh, Anthony. Great show, by the way. I just love how you approach the situation and you just make it real. I love that.
I appreciate you, dude.
Yeah. So with the Giants, I'm a New York football Giants fan down here in Tennessee. I was born in the Bronx, and my goodness, I am just over the deal that happened tonight because of one big deal. We have now 2 top 10 selections.
Right.
So what are we going to do with this stuff, right? And at the end of the day, it becomes this thing of how do we, take into account that we can make sure that the Giants desperately need to improve in the trenches.
Wow.
And this is something that, everyone's going about, wide receivers and running backs and all this stuff. But in the trenches is where stuff happens. So now that we're at the point that we are, 2 picks away from taking, let's say, a linebacker,
right?
A guy in the top 10 names that would be Colin Downs or Carnell Tate, these types of guys. Why isn't that for the forefront of how we're going to improve? Because we have our quarterback, we have our coach, we have all this other stuff. At the end of the day, it's going to be in the trenches about how things work.
And Paul, playing in that division, I appreciate the call, Paul. Also, I'm pretty jealous because I heard Memphis barbecue is the best barbecue in the country. I guess Kansas City, they might have a problem with that, but screw the Chiefs, screw Kansas City. Yeah, the trenches matter. And I will say this too. When you look at the Eagles, who, have been a dominant force now for a few years, they are built, they've had a lot of changes. And last year they struggled a bit. And what was the common denominator? Their offensive line was banged up and they had, changes to multiple positions there. The Cowboys, the best iteration of the Dak Prescott Cowboys, they had an elite offensive line. And that's where you really want to go and combat a good offensive line. You attack it with the Giants' interior defensive line, but also you have to be able to fill out a roster. And you don't need an all-pro D tackle when you weren't stopping the run last year. And it's not all on Dexter Lawrence. But that shows enough that what he is not enough, and you need multiple players. So, again, if they get a guy in the draft, if they go out, we've heard names like DJ Reader or Calais Campbell. There's lesser names out there as well that you could, like a Shelby Harris type. These are veterans. These are just guys who over the hill would be cheap, one-year deals that could do a good job against the run, could help you absorb some of that attention and attack the defensive line. Because, again, Dexter Lawrence may not have impacted the run game, but there is also something to say that he played with a guy who was I think he was top 2 in sacks. But Brian Burns was top 3 for sure in the NFL in sacks. And you played with other guys like Abdul Carter and Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau, who may not have the sack numbers, but gets close to the quarterback. The QB pressures, the QB hits were there. And that's not just all them. That is a lot them. That's not taking away anything from them. But it also is to say, he was eating up a lot of attention. The Broncos, I'll take it back to my team. The Broncos have a great pass rush. And I think Nick Bonito is an elite all-pro talent. I think Jonathan Cooper is really good. They don't really have those household names. They have great players on that team. But where does it all start from? Zach Allen, one of the best interior defensive linemen, and not just stopping the run, and the Broncos were second in run defense, but also attacking the middle of the line, absorbing pressure, and still being able to crack through and get QB pressures. So that is important. The other thing that teams like that have, and when you look at the teams that were, top in stopping the run, I think it was the Texans and the Broncos. That's also, I'll bring it up right now, it was the Jaguars, Broncos, Seahawks, Texans, in that order were the top 4. They also all have good linebackers. The Giants this year, yes, they lose Bobby Okereke, but you bring in Tremaine Edmonds. You may potentially add Sonny Styles. And then with that 10th pick, you could go wide out, you could go safety, corner, you could trade back, get an interior lineman. All of these things are on the table. And all of these things could play a part in what is the future of the Giants. Dexter Lawrence didn't want to be here. They got rid of him. And now they're building something from the ground up with guys who want to be in the building for John Harbaugh. And it's his right to demand to get paid. It is. That is his right. The Giants owe him nothing. The Giant fans certainly owe him nothing. And let's be honest, he also doesn't owe anybody anything. He's been here. He's been a good soldier. And it ended a little poorly. I don't think you should have hard feelings towards him. This is a win-win. He gets to go and play for a team he's perceived to be a contender and get paid. And the Giants get to continue to build something in the first year of John Harbaugh that will be in his vision. And again, we saw, I think it was Peter Schrager that tweeted it. He did tweet that, or is Jordan Renan? Hold on. I got everything up here. I'll get you the info real quick. But about the kid from Ohio State, Caden McDonald, that, let me just get the exact tweet. Yeah, so Renan tweeted this about 2 hours ago. Multiple sources told me earlier this week that defensive tackle Caden McDonald is perfect for the Baltimore-style defense the Giants will run. So that is a guy who could end up being the piece that the Giants go after, and he's a guy who's mocked at the end of the first round. So again, you might pick at 5 and trade back 10. You might pick at 10 and trade 5 back and accumulate a ton of picks and go from there. I'm seeing the highlights of the Lakers-Rockets game, and Imo Udoka was calling somebody the B word, and they have it clear as day. Like, I don't even need the volume on to know what he was saying. So he is somebody who's not afraid to mix it up with the players, a former player himself. I was disappointed when I saw KD was out in that one, so I like the Rockets a lot, and I was hoping for everyone to be healthy so we'd get a great series. But nonetheless, all that matters is the Knicks won. 888-808-1019. Monday night will be a great night in New York. Hopefully the Mets will have won a game by then. The Yankees will continue their winning ways, and we get game 2 at the Garden, the Mecca. The Knicks look to get one step closer to the second round. 888-808-1019. Anthony Gallo on the Fan. We'll be right back. We'll get back to the calls. We'll continue the conversation about the Giants. We'll dive into the Knicks, Mets, Yankees. It's all on the table right here on the Fan.
It's Sunday afternoon baseball with the Yankees and Royals. 1:35 tomorrow.
Going, and go!
Susan Waldman and Dave Sims call all the play-by-play. The home of Yankees baseball is the Fan. 101.9 FM, 660 AM. And always live and available en Espanol with Ricky Ricardo on the free Odyssey app.
Looking for the lowest price on Continental tires? Go to Town Fair Tire and get the guaranteed lowest price on any Continental tire you choose. Plus, Town Fair Tire gives you the most free services for life. That's more free services than any other tire dealer. For the guaranteed lowest price and the most free services for life on your Continental tires, nobody beats a Town Fair Tire deal. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
At NYU Langone Health, we know there really is no place like home. That's why we get our surgery patients home faster and have fewer readmissions than any other health system. That means once you're home, you won't need to go back for the same procedure. Instead, you can get back to the things you love. And the next time you need something else, we're here. Better health starts with a better health system. Learn more at nyulangonehealth.org.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Odyssey Sports Draft coverage is presented nationally by Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the Bet365 app and lock in your picks before the game begins. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in select states only. And by Lincoln Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Pump up the volume.
business moves fast. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
At Paramus Chevrolet, we understand that a car is more than four wheels. It's an extension of who you are. Hey, it's Mike Tandarella, General Manager of Paramus Chevrolet. Because everyone has unique taste, we stock a large variety of certified pre-owned automobiles. So you're sure to find something you absolutely love. And it gets better. Enjoy our exclusive Paramus Chevrolet VIP Plus program. A lifetime of complimentary oil changes, courtesy shuttles, and loaner car availability. Visit us in person or online at ParamusChevrolet.com.
Hey Yankees fans, come out to Yankee Stadium on Saturday, May 2nd for the Yankees' annual Star Wars Day. Enjoy special appearances by some of your favorite Star Wars characters, and the first 18,000 guests in attendance will receive a max-free Mandalorian bobblehead. Get your tickets now for Saturday, May 2nd, Star Wars Day at Yankee Stadium. For tickets, visit yankees.com/tickets. And may the Force be with you.
Talk New York sports here. The Fan.
Oh, that's right. Anthony Gallo on the Fan, 888-808-1019. We've done a lot of Dexter Lawrence and the Giants, and we'll continue that conversation as the night rolls on. And after me at 1 o'clock, the great E.J. Stewart has got you covered as well. So a full night of coverage on that. I do want to jump into the Knicks a bit here while we have a chance. Tonight was not perfect, but as far as when you're looking for something, and there were things I needed to see from this Knicks team. And from the jump, yes, they were getting beat inside early, but from the jump, I thought the effort offensively, defensively was there. And this is a Knicks team, and the defense and the playoffs are always different. That's what I try to tell you all year, that the playoffs are different, and that when you get these slow starts in February and January against good teams, it's not a great look, but it's also not indicative of what this team would do in the playoffs. And the Knicks went out there, and I love the effort from the jump. The only thing in this game that really bothered me, first half, second half, whatever it is, was the turnovers early on, because I did feel like the game could have been a blowout early. But Brunson comes out immediately. I think he went 5 for 5 right off the rip. Mikal Bridges and Brunson scored all but 2 of their points in the first quarter or something like that, something crazy. And Brunson started it. Karl Anthony Towns finished it. And I think that is a key component here, is all we asked from Cat was in those brief moments that, Brunson is either off or he's sitting on the sidelines or he's not hitting his shot, that you step up and be the star that we know you can be. And he went out there and he did it. And a small thing here, too. They actually hit their free throws, which it always felt like in big moments, and sometimes during the stretch last year, they wouldn't. But I really liked what I saw from everyone. I mean, the starting lineup, they all scored in double figures. Josh Hart, another, stat-filled night, 3 steals, 5 assists, 14 rebounds, 11 points. He was great. OG, very good. Again, he plays a little timid at times, which I wish he wouldn't when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, but he let the game come to him offensively. 6 of 9, 2 of 3 for 3, but he was great defensively. Hart, Bridges, great defensively. Shockingly enough, after a few miscues, and there were still those moments where he's never going to be perfect, where Towns was struggling in the first quarter to stop them in the paint or even help in the paint, I thought his defensive intensity was good. And he had some key stops at points in the late in the second and in the third quarter. The thing that gave me the most joy, and it's weird to say this because it's a lot of vibes and flows and feeling the team of destiny, not saying they are a team of destiny, but just like what things are lining up. The Knicks, OG rolls his ankle bad. And that was, I think, early in the third quarter. And he comes off the court immediately. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, here we go. Knicks are going to win this game by 20, but it's going to feel like they lost. And shortly after, OG's back on the court. And part of that was like, okay, this feels awesome. This feels, special because normally that's like a death sentence. We all remember 2 years ago when they went to Game 7 against the Pistons and OG had to Willis read it out there and barely played, or against the Pacers, not the Pistons, my fault. But that was one of those signs. They did everything I needed to see. The ball movement, it was beautiful at times. It felt like even in points of chaos, they were able to move the ball while keeping it fast-paced and not slowing the game down too much. And then at times, they were able to slow the game down. And the biggest thing, because all we heard, and I swear we'll get back to the calls in a second, 888-808-1019, but the biggest thing that we've seen over the last 2 weeks with the Knicks, including tonight, is the two-man game of Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. And the Knicks doing something that I kind of liked, where Cat was the initiator of the offense, and it allowed Brunson to play off of him to get open. But it was also late in the game, because early in the game it was getting Brunson open. But then late in the game, Cat was able to find his spots. And they're going to have to, at times Cat's got to initiate the offense, but at other times it would be, nice. They did run it a little bit today. They ran it more at the end of the regular season. Seeing that two-man game where they're running the pick and roll with Cat and Brunson. So there was a lot to be excited about. The crowd was great. The defensive intensity was great. They shot the ball well tonight. 48% from three. 48% in general from the field. But 48% from three, awesome. Deuce gave you good minutes. Jordan Clarkson, only played 11 minutes, but they were impactful. Everything we saw tonight, no Diawara, no Jose Alvarado, no Sohan. So, it's going to be night in, night out. It's going to be a different, and, what works in this series may not work in the next series. So we're going to see that as well. And, we used to complain about Thibodeau's rotations being too short. But you do want to shrink your rotations come playoff time, and this is why you want to play multiple guys during the regular season, so you could see what spots they fit in. If this was a tight game and Brunson and Cat are cooking, but OG's in foul trouble or Mikal Bridges is in foul trouble, maybe we would have seen Diawara or Sohan, Mitch if Cat was. It's just that's where we're going to see the ebbs and the flows of the playoff rotation, but I could not have been more happier, and I am fired up. I wasn't really worried about the Hawks, I got to be honest. I wasn't really worried about anyone that we could potentially play in the first round. The Sixers, the Magic, the Hawks, the Raptors, anyone. The Raptors got smoked by the Cavs today. The only good game was that Nuggets-Timberwolves games. And when I mean good game, I mean truly came down to the wire, was fun. They kind of have some bad blood there. And I could not have been more pleased by what the Knicks did tonight from every asset, top to bottom of the offense. Mike Brown did a great job. Defensively, they were great. Brunson and Cat stepping up. OG finding his moments. Bridges early on helping on the offensive side. It was a great Game 1 victory. Obviously, if you're just tuning in and you live under a rock, Dexter Lawrence traded to the Bengals for the number 10 overall pick, and that's been the dominant conversation as the night goes on. We'll get into the Mets and the Yankees in a few. All of this is going on, and it's been so hectic. I even completely forgot to mention that WrestleMania was tonight. So, night one of Mania in Vegas. A lot to get to. 888-808-1019. Hardy in Maine. What's going on, Hardy?
Anthony, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, dude. How are you?
Oh, can't complain at all. I'm over the moon over this trade as a longtime suffering Giants fan, or lately suffering Giants fan.
It hasn't all been suffering, but I get it.
No. You know what I mean, though.
Yes, the last 10 years have been brutal.
Geez. But to like you were saying earlier, to get what they got, the 10th overall for a guy who's coming off a bad year, and I'm just amazed that Shane and Harbaugh and Aponte or whoever you want to give credit for pulled this off. I'm just so happy about it.
Well, and I don't think they were there were definitely a lot of suitors out there. So they would have gotten something. I do think that it was competitive enough because I don't think the Bengals' first offer was just, hey, we'll give you our 10th for Dexter Lawrence. I'm sure there was a lot of negotiation and there were a bunch of teams in on it. So kudos to them.
I was thinking Chicago maybe with like the late 20 pick they had or, mid 20 pick they had or something like that. But to get this one, it's like, wow.
I think Chicago was definitely in on it. I think potentially the Chargers might have been in on him. This is just me looking at the teams that have need on that interior defensive line. The Cowboys were never an option, obviously, in division. They are another team.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that with your division.
Yeah, even with Quinn and Williams, they still need help on that defensive line. But it was those that, Chicago, like you said, I thought the Chargers, there's a lot that I'm sure went into it. I don't think this was just, I don't think they negotiated for a long time, but I think when we got the news this week, and I appreciate the call, Hardy, when we got the news this week that the Giants were looking to negotiate with Dexter, and then shortly after that, we got the news that he wanted out and he was done with the Giants. I think immediately Joe Shane and the front office, Harbaugh, they started making moves and fielding calls. And I'm sure that once Dexter Lawrence, the reports came out a month ago, whatever it was, that he was disgruntled, teams were calling, but they really started to up that negotiation when their negotiations fell flat with Dexter. Because I'm sure they met with him and told him, hey, like, the best we could do is this, and you might have to go elsewhere, or we're going to trade you. We don't think this is, whatever it was, the conversation they had. They definitely moved quickly, and I'm sure teams were bidding to move up. And let's just say the offers were the Bengals at 10, the Chargers at 22, or the Bears at 25. Even if the Bears and the Chargers are offering you a first and like a fifth, you're taking the 10. That 5 can't be worth. I don't know what the draft value is for a fifth-round pick, but that is how I saw it playing out. As far as like when you look at the big board and you start to really break down where the Giants could go, I'll just let's just check all of the needs they have: defensive line, corner, interior offensive line, and I'll throw a linebacker in there. Arvell Reese, it seems like he's going to go to the Jets. A lot of people think he's the best overall player in the draft, but Sonny Styles, another linebacker. You have an interior offensive lineman at a Penn State. That could be a way they go at 10, or maybe they trade back for him. And then there's a bunch of corners. The one thing I will say is there's not the sexy names at cornerback. I know the kid from LSU, Delane, is the only guy near the top 10. But when you get to the early second round and the late first round, you got 2 or 3 people at corner. You've got in the second round, a lot of that front-loaded talent is secondary help. There's a couple of safeties. Obviously, we talked about Caleb Downs a ton. But there's a guy out of Oregon, a kid out of Toledo. They're all up there as well. So there are options at all of these positions, at all of their needs. It is also incredible when you look at this draft and you see how many players Ohio State has in the top 10. 4 guys in the top 10. There's a chance that if by some chance, let's say the Jets take Reese at 2, if the Cardinals were to trade back and somebody takes Ohio State could have 4 guys go in a row. It's essentially what I was getting at, which is unheard of. And they could have 5 guys in the first round at the most. Or 4 guys, my apology. Kid from McDonald, the defensive tackle. Cardinal Tate, the wideout. Sonny Styles, the linebacker. Oh, it is 5. Caleb Downs, safety, and then Arvell Reese, the linebacker. So there's a lot of options for the Giants in this draft to upgrade positions that they desperately need to upgrade. But the best part, again, I know I feel like a broken record, they have the quarterback. They have they have edge rushers. They have a wideout. They aren't desperate for anything. In the YouTube chat, We got a couple more. One person says Styles at 5, Lemon at 10, so either Malachi Lemon or Jordan Tyson, one of those wideouts at 10. And they signed DJ Reader, and they go for, I don't know who Campbell is, but I guess he's a cornerback. Let's see who that is. I'm not seeing him here, but they're saying Campbell, who's a corner at the second round. Let me see. I'm going to bring up my big board, do my draft. Unless is he talking about, I might be an idiot here. What am I doing? Unless he's talking about Elijah Campbell, who I thought was a safety, but I could be wrong there. But anyway, that's where we're at. Also, I put up a poll in the chat, too, where Giant fans, do you agree with the Giants trading Dexter Lawrence? 650 votes, 90% yes, which is not shocking, but it's a good day. If you sent the Mets to Siberia, it would be an excellent day in New York sports. The Liberty re-sign the big three. The Yankees put up double digits in offensive output. The Knicks win game 1. Dexter Lawrence gets traded. I know NYCFC lost, so that isn't great. So we couldn't have the clean sweep. It couldn't just be everything, just clean. But was a great day in New York City. And the Mets, they try to ruin everything, as they always do. And they are ruining my spring. The Knicks are going to revitalize it, but the Mets are ruining my spring. And we'll get to that in a few. And EJ's joins you guys at 1 a.m. when I'm done. I'm sure he'll get into all that, the Knicks as well. But a big day. Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals, 10th overall pick. And if you're a Giants fan, you have to be excited because you could look at it multiple ways. He didn't want to be here. That's one. He didn't want to be here with a new head coach, Super Bowl winning head coach in John Harbaugh. And Harbaugh gets to rip the Band-Aid off and start clean. Then you could also look at it for they got top value for him, and he's coming off of a year where his physical fitness was questioned, his motivation was questioned, his effort and his preparation, all of these things were questioned. And he had his worst year of his NFL career as a pro. And you got top value for him. And sure, maybe he gets a big deal. He's going to get paid most likely by the Bengals. But he'll get paid. And even if he plays well, I really don't see this as a way you could look back and say, the Giants didn't do great. Now, if the Giants blow the pick, that does not mean the trade was bad. It means that what they did with the assets they got is where the issue was. You free up $13 million in cap. I think it ends up being like $13.5 or $14 million dead cap, but you save $13 million in cap space, and then that dead cap, I don't know if it's spread between 2 years or if it's just this one season, but you go from there. I'll look it up real quick to see if I got. Yeah, it's saying $13 million, $13.9 million in dead cap, 13.04 in cap savings. And I don't know if that is spread over 2 seasons. Let me see. I'm on over the cap right now. Yeah, because they also save it because that pick, if they pick at 10, obviously it's a certain number that cap hit is. Lawrence will carry a 13.9 dead money charge for the Giants in 2026, which creates $13 million in cap room. They will free up $28.96 million the next year. So that's awesome. That is that's a little nugget that I didn't even realize right now. That is a big catch for the Giants to go out there and, again, obviously, Giant fans don't want to wait 2 years. You're not going to have to wait 2 years. You're going to be competitive. I don't know if you're going to make the playoffs. I'm not getting ahead of myself, but you're going to be competitive. So you go out there, you make this move, but then the impact that it has, not just on this cap and the draft, what it's going to have next year. And when free agent, and you did a great job this year in free agency, what you do the year after that. Showing I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who didn't get to see Mania yet, but I show Speed jumping off the turnbuckle out of the ring, landing on Logan Paul. WWE has done a lot wrong over the few years, but they've done a really good job when they've brought in these celebrities from outside. Bad Bunny, Logan Paul, now IShowSpeed, that have done a good job. So that's cool. I'm sure I'll catch up tomorrow while I'm doing chores. I have too much going on tonight. The NBA playoffs, getting ready for the show. I couldn't be locked in to Mania. And every year it gets a little less exciting. I didn't even realize it was this week. I knew it was 420 before I knew it was WrestleMania this week. 888-808-1019, even if I don't really partake anymore. We have got a lot more to get to. I got one more hour with you until the great E.J. Stewart at 1 a.m. We will get into the Mets. We'll dive more into the Knicks. We'll continue this conversation on the Giants. The Yankees have a big offensive day, and it feels like the panic we had with the Yankees has subsided, and the Mets went from panic to full-blown, the season is over mode. 888-808-1019. Anthony Gallo on The Fan.
It's The Carton Show with Craig Carton and Chris McMonagle. Afternoons 2 to 7 on The Fan, 101.9 FM.
Adam Silver, Commissioner of the NBA. Give me kind of your State of the Union on the NBA before we get into more of the specific questions for you.
I just say in terms of viewership, believe it or not, it's the highest viewership in 24 years.
Congrats.
Get The Carton Show on demand. Available on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and the free Odyssey app.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Nothing but net. Nice shot. Man, I miss playing basketball. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
Lower testosterone?
Yeah, men just lose their edge after 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
Nugenix, the testosterone booster.
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula. It skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours and boosts your body's free and total testosterone in just 2 weeks. Since I started taking it, my energy is way up. I feel like I did back when we played for Coach Mack, and it's even spiced things up with my wife.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text BLING to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text BLING to 215-215. That's BLING to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a staff accountant at the height of tax season.
Congrats, looks like the company owes, $50 in taxes. How about that?
That seems low. Why only 50?
Why do you care so much? It's not your money.
This is the job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Growing a brand is hard, but reaching the right customers shouldn't be. Meet Outcomes from Viant. We've built an intelligent platform that handles the complexity of digital advertising for you. Powered by advanced AI, we help your brand show up in the right places at the right time and ensure that every dollar you spend leads to a real business result. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Who sells Continental tires for less than Town Fair Tire? Nobody. Who has a better selection of Continental tires than Town Fair Tire? Nobody. And who gives you more free services for the life of those Continental tires? Nobody. Town Fair Tire has over 100 locations and over 600,000 tires in stock, all at the guaranteed lowest price. And that's why we say nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Hey, Boomer Esiason here. After years in the game, I don't guess. I go with what works. Red Pocket Mobile gives you 3 major 5G networks to choose from. Switching cities? Switch your network. That's like calling your own Audible. Visit redpocket.com to see why more Americans are switching to better wireless without paying more. Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
Thursday, April 23rd, round 1. Big Blue and Gang Green will be on the clock with futures at stake. Plus, New York heads down to Atlanta to take the court for a pivotal Game 3. A huge night in New York sports, and the FAN crew is getting together to party.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs and have some fun.
Boomer, Geo, Jerry, Evan, Tiki, and Morash, Carton and McMonigal all crash the Fans rooftop here in Manhattan. And you can check them out streaming live on WFAN's YouTube, X, Facebook, and Instagram. From the penthouse at 345 Hudson Square Properties. Sponsored in part by Sloman's. Save on AC today. Spiked Aid. Sports drink flavors spiked. And your home for everything New York sports. WFAN.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
We're talking New York sports. WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station. Get connected with WFAN to talk about your favorite teams. The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
What a night. It's been a celebration all night. And this has kind of been like sports therapy because I've just been able to bury the trauma that is the New York Mets away from my memory. And we go out. We have the great Knicks win, the Giants trade Dexter Lawrence. They get the top, the 10th overall pick. Watch a little bit of the, playoff hockey and mania. Yankees put up double digits. Good day. If you just don't think about the Mets. Also, crazy stat that, not that it's like never been done before, but Ohtani, 50th game on base in a row, ties Willie Keeler for the third longest streak in Dodgers history. And that is a franchise that's been around for a long time. And I know that the number is a lot higher than that, but it is 50 straight games on base is insane. And he continues to do a lot. Obviously, the Knicks win game one. 113-102. And the big story of the night, the Giants trade Dexter Lawrence. T. Higgins getting excited, saying he's got a new dance partner. He said, where is the tweet exactly? He said, a lot of this in the jungle, huh? As far as, and it was a video of him doing the sexy Dexy dance. So that's a team that is expecting to win. They're not banking on Joe Burrow getting hurt again. You have Jamar Chase, you have T. Higgins, they have Chase Brown at running back. They are looking at this as a window to win. They go out, they added a ton in free agency. I'll bring up the exact moves they made. They added the guy from Seattle, Boy Mafe, Brian Cook from the Chiefs, Jonathan Allen from the Vikings. They're all defensive players. They bring all of them in. Jason Taylor, they bring him on the minimum, and Kyle Duggar from the Steelers. So they brought in a lot on defense. You add Dexter Lawrence. They probably don't feel like they need to go out there and really bolster any other position. So they look at the draft capital. 1-for-1, you're trading this top 10 pick for Dexter Lawrence, one guy for one guy, and they view it as a win for themselves. Offensive line-wise, they have, Orlando Brown and some other guys. They also have Mike Gesicki on offense. They're not looking at this as they 100% have to completely. Chase Brown is making, he makes like next to nothing. It's crazy. Every time I see running back contracts, they're viewing this as a win now situation. That's what it is. And when you're the Giants and you're not in Super Bowl contention mode yet, or at least perceived Super Bowl contention mode, getting rid of a guy like Dexter Lawrence, it's hard emotionally because he's been there so long. He's been a great Giant. Obviously, the last month or so has not been great with him obviously being disgruntled. Last year was a bad season for him, but the other 5 years were very good football out of Dexter Lawrence. And when you look at 5, 6 years, whatever it was, you have guys like DJ Reader and Calais Campbell, older guys that you can bring in to supplement some of that production you're losing and go and add somebody in the draft. And there's going to be, cuts in the summer. There's going to be interior defensive linemen that you can add to help this team going forward. It's just, it is not a positional desperate. They are not desperate for interior defensive help in the trenches like you would be if you didn't have an edge rusher, like you didn't have a star wideout or quarterback. The thing that the Giants need to be worried about the most is that secondary. And again, they can address that in the draft. They can address that in the first round. Whether it's Caleb Downs or one of the cornerbacks, they can definitely do it on day 2. Maybe they use that 10th overall pick to move back in the first round and accumulate a second or a third round pick to accumulate some future assets. And I don't think they'll do it, but they could also use it to trade for an established player already. I don't think they'll do it, though. I do think that if they take an edge rusher at 5 or 10, let's just say they stay at those ones and they take an edge rusher, don't be shocked if Kayvon Thibodeau is potentially a day 2 trade or a late day 1 trade to get day 2 assets. Now, if they take Sonny Styles, short of like Ruben Bain falling to 10, I doubt they're going to take an edge rusher with one of those first 2 picks. You take Styles, you put him in that linebacker room with Tremaine Edmonds and Micah McFadden, and he's a little bit more versatile than those 2 guys, but you put him in that room. And then at 10, you could go safety if Caleb Downs falls. You could go cornerback. You could go wide receiver. You could trade back and take an interior offensive lineman. You could stay there and take an interior offensive lineman. You could trade back and take a defensive tackle. There's a million things they can do, and all of it is good. And day 1 of the John Harbaugh era starts tonight. It wasn't when he got hired. It wasn't. This is going to be the moment, if they are successful in this era, where they look back and tell you, that was the moment. That was when it started. He had the balls to trade Dexter Lawrence. And again, I'm not a Giants fan, so I still like Dexter Lawrence a lot. There is no reason for you to have hard feelings. He wanted to get paid. He was disgruntled. They've lost a lot. You would have loved for him to be here as a part of the success. But you also benefited from this. It wasn't like he left you high and dry. It wasn't like he did something absolutely terrible. The time had run its course. 888-808-1019. Kind of similar to the Mets and their time running their course. As every game, they find ways to lose in painstakingly brutal fashion. You have the debacle that is the Dodgers series, and then you go out there and you lay an egg on Friday against the Cubs. And then today, where you put up more of a fight, but you can't even get a full 5 innings out of your boy, Freddie Peralta. I'm sorry, 6 innings. I said 5 innings. I meant 6 innings. He goes out there and then he walks the last 2 batters. And I don't want to hear about Alvarez not challenging the ABS. We didn't bring in Freddie Peralta to rely on the catcher in ABS. We brought in Freddie Peralta to lock down and get the job done. And not that he was awful today, but again, when you're in this moment, he's supposed to be a stopper. And all he needed to do was get one more out. And what did he do? He walked the next 2 guys. And of course, Brooks rarely comes in and pours gasoline all over all of it. And they've started to hit. Sure. 7 hits today. They're starting to, hit a little bit. But it is increasingly frustrating every day watching this team and watching how lifeless they are the second they fall behind and how little fight they have. And when they don't pitch, they hit. And when they don't hit, they pitch. And there's days where they don't do either. And when they do both, they don't field and they cost themselves both. It's been a disaster. And the guy who's got to wear it is the general manager. For as much as I've defended him, David Stearns has really put himself in a situation. And I defended some of the moves. I was not in favor of Alonso and Diaz leaving. I understand the logic at times, and I'm sure they probably want the Diaz situation back. But I am not happy with the way things have turned out. And not just the way things have turned out, that almost everything he's done outside of Luis Robert has been a disaster this year. And it's early. Sure, it's early. But if they don't figure it out until June, it's going to be over. It's not going to be early. It's just going to be over. It could be May. And yes, I'm one of these guys that tells you, you got to wait till the middle of June. But there are times, there are circumstances where the season is over. Where there's no reason to have hope. The Mets aren't at that point yet. They are not far. And Mendoza might be the first sacrificial lamb of this situation. Going out there and doing what he did this offseason. Again, it's why I'm talking about what I'm talking about with Dexter Lawrence and the Giants. If you do it in year one and you get rid of the franchise favorite, the longtime favorite, a guy like Dexter Lawrence, somebody who, yes, the fan base may be disgruntled with him right now, just like he was disgruntled with the franchise, but a guy who had a lot of, cachet with the squad. You get rid of him in year one, because if you get rid of him in year two and it blows up in your face or it hurts the locker room or whatever or metric you want to look at it from, it's a lot worse. And look at David Stearns. He could have came in and cleaned house when he came in. We were coming off of a terrible year. I'm sure getting rid of Alonso and Nimmo and McNeil would have been a little bit easier in that facet. Because last year wasn't all terrible. Alonso was great last year, broke the record, all this stuff. But you do it when you do it now. And every mistake is amplified. And rightfully so. You have to figure this out. If they lose today, Sunday, in Chicago, I don't think Carlos Mendoza is flying back with the team. I don't think that's the answer. But I don't think something's got to happen. I don't think Mendoza's the problem. Mendoza's going to lace it up, catch a couple of fly balls. Is he going to hit one out of the park? No. There aren't these moments where I'm saying, man, that's an egregious mistake. That cost us the game. There really hasn't been those moments. Maybe one of the extra inning games where I felt maybe the choice of pitcher, but I haven't sat here and watched a Met game and been like, man, that's on Mendoza. You have those moments. It's 162 games. As much as I defend Boone, there's moments where you rip Boone and whoever it was, when Buck Showalter was here, Joe Torre, Bobby Valentine. There's always a moment over the season where you'll be like, that one's on the manager. This early season, I'm not sure there's a single game I'm putting on the manager. There's games I'll put on Lindor, Bo Bichette, Marcus Semien, Brett Beatty, Freddie Peralta, David Peterson, Kodai Senga. Honestly, the only guys on the roster, and Juan Soto is by default not to blame because he's been out from the worst part of this. And that, sure, you want to make that excuse, but when you're the highest payroll in baseball, losing one player should not be enough to derail your season. outside of Francisco Alvarez and at times Luis Robert, Lou Bob, there are no position players that are playing well. And outside of Nolan McClain, and I guess Clay Holmes as well, no pitchers are pitching well. Freddie Peralta's been a disappointment. Peterson and Senga have been god-awful. In the bullpen, Luke Weaver hasn't been good. Devin Williams has been okay. Lindor cost him the other night, which is becoming a common theme of him costing people. Offensively, they have been. Bo Bichette looks like he can't hit the ball in the infield. Marcus Semien has looked like he's turned it on a little bit. He's been hitting the ball a little harder, but that's, again, he hasn't been anything. Vientos and Beatty have been so frustrating to watch in the field, at the plate. They're so hot and cold, and Vientos is either on fire or he's the worst player in baseball. Francisco Alvarez, even when they're getting blown out, is out here busting his butt down the first baseline. He looks like the only person with a clue when he steps up to the plate. And Luis Robert has been a good player this year. He's had mistakes in the field, though. It's been a brutal start to the season, and I don't know where we're going from here. I don't know where how do they get out of this? That is the problem I have. When I'm sitting here watching the Mets, it's early. Yes, that's the only thing in my head I keep saying. When they were struggling in 2024, I saw the silver lining. The bats weren't going, but the pitching looked great. And then there was timely hitting in those losses that mixed in. It wasn't like they were losing 8 in a row. They would lose 3 in a row and then win 2 or, whatever it was. They were struggling, but there was a fight to them. There was a moxie. Lindor was just struggling at the plate. It wasn't like he was a low IQ baseball player. I just can't sit here and tell you I have a clue how to fix this. Firing the manager is not going to fix this. And I think C-Mac made a good point, and I'm not 100% agreeing with him, but on Friday, him and Craig have been, on different sides of it, that, Craig believes that Francisco Lindor should be benched for a game. There should be accountability issues, and he should be sat down for the, mental mistakes, which I don't disagree with. I'm not saying bench him, but I think, today, they should give him a day off. Just give him a breather. What's going to happen? You're going to lose? Well, you lost with them too. And C-Mac's point was Met fans are so obsessed with punishing the player or the accountability aspect of things because they don't have an answer to what's going on. And I think that's a fair point. Yes, we obviously know we're not happy with the players and the roster, but there might not be a fix. This might be a long season. This might be, last year, I said it, end of the season, Mets got eliminated, that it was the most embarrassing season, the most embarrassing moment in the franchise's history. If they go out there and lose 90-plus games this year, hell, if they go out there and finish under 500, it's a contender. You have the highest payroll in baseball. I do not want to hear about Juan Soto isn't around. I don't want to hear about it's an early, slow start for Bichette and Lindor. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about you got to give Vientos and Beatty more time because how much more time are you going to give them? How much more time do we need to see Brett Beatty go out there and go 0 for 20? He had a good month last year. He had a couple of good weeks sprinkled in there, but had really a good month last year, and Met fans were ready to gift him the third base job. Mark Vientos, I don't think Met fans have been as supportive of him, but how many times would you see Mark Vientos have a week where he hits 10 homers and then looks like the worst player in baseball for the next 3 weeks? Carson Bench is not getting – he's fine. He may not be ready for the big leagues at the moment, but I am not worried right now about Carson Bench. He does not have the ire. He doesn't. My negativity isn't geared towards him. And he's been on base, or he's gotten a hit in 6 of his last 8 games. So the kid isn't the problem. He hustles. He's playing hard. But how do you fix this? I don't think there's an answer. There may not be an answer. I'm still going to give them, I always say, me and Nico have talked about this last weekend, June 15th, early June. That's like when I decide how I feel the season's going to go. And sometimes you're wrong. Like last year, they got to June 12th or whatever it was and then fell on their face. And since then, they've had one of the worst records, if not the worst record in all of baseball. They've been a 100-loss-paced team since whatever it was. Was it June 12th? June 12th. Look at that. I get the memory like an elephant. In the chat, Lou Boogie said, what's worse, Mets lose 10 in a row and or former Ahmed Rosario homers for the Yankees. The Ahmed Rosario thing doesn't bother me too much. I thought Ahmed Rosario was fine. I like Ahmed. I actually think he's a good ball player. Career 270 hitter. He's not. That's not bothering me. I gotta be. It's the farthest thing that's bothering me. It doesn't bother me that Brandon Nimmo's playing well. You could cherry pick Brandon Nimmo, but none of those other guys are playing well. Diaz blew a save. He's been shut down. Pete Alonso has not been that good. Jeff McNeil, outside of the series he had against the Mets, Pete Alonso's hitting 205. So the worst part about all of this, the Mets probably suck either way. You bring Pete. We're just happier because you got Pete Alonso back and you had Diaz back. I watched that game today, and it is a terrible place to be. I'm watching that game, and it's not even like, hey, win this game to give me hope. It's win this game so I could push off the feeling or the truth that the season might be over already. Thank God the Giants traded Dexter Lawrence, so I didn't have to spend 4 hours talking about this crap. Rod Power's really just out here, man. He's a different one. But, first we got to bring up Ahmed Rosario. The other one we got to bring up Dom Smith, who looks awesome for the Braves right now. We get it. I mean, that is so far in the past, and nobody was a bigger Dom Smith fan than me. But that is so far in the past. He's hitting 3. How about this, Nico? 362, 4 dingers, 16 RBIs. The guy, the ex-Met we should be worried about, Dom Smith.
And, of course, it's with the Braves, too.
Of course. And he can't, when he hit the grand slam and then I hear the story about his mom passing away, I'm like, damn, and Dom was was an all-time favorite for me. But it only rubs it in more.
That's the thing, too, is like you want to be happy for him. Because, I agree. I loved Dom Smith when he was a Met. It's just like you had to go to Atlanta.
Why couldn't you do it for, Oakland?
Right.
Or the rate, it's like if Nimmo does well, it's going to sting this year. But then in the future, you're going to be like, all right, whatever, I'll root for him.
Exactly.
Same thing with Alonso. Diaz, the problem is the Dodgers are like a direct rival. So, I don't even know. It's not it's a one-sided rivalry because the Dodgers are so far and above the Mets. They are an elite team. The Mets are a joke right now. I don't think Juan Soto is fixing this. I don't think any move. The answer is not on the roster right now. 888-808-1019. Robbie and Lennox. What's going on, Robbie?
Hey, what's going on, Anthony? Thanks for taking my call, by the way. Nico's a great producer,
he's
by
the
way.
best. That's my guy.
Excellent, man. Mr. Scarlatus.
Him and Jack have held it down tonight.
Yeah, they've been great, man. So a lot of good young producers on this station.
Yes.
I have to tell you. It's funny, I remember when Emmanuel was producing, I said, kid, you're going to have a career in this business. And now he's doing the Yankee game. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was telling Nico, I go all the way back to being 22 when I first started calling the station. I'm a 61-year-old guy. And now Dexter's gone. You know what? Good riddance. Because last year, listening to Carl and listening to Bob and all the things that were said about Dexter Lawrence, good. Go to Cincinnati. We got back a pick. So let's start with the NFL and then we'll talk about baseball. All right. So A guy I love in the draft, if he's there at 5, is Caleb Downs from Ohio State.
Yeah.
The Giants,
dude.
the Giants
I mean, Robbie.
Yep.
I'm on the same boat as you. I love Caleb Downs.
So do I. Absolutely love him. I mean, I'm not going to say that he's, a guy like Troy Polamalu, but he's the type of guy that you can plug in there. You can play him in nickel. You can play him at strong safety. You can play him in free safety. Yeah, I mean, he's physical. He's quick. I mean, he looks like the real deal. So if he's there at 5, to me, I'm either taking Skiles or I'm taking him. Because the Giants, they have offensive talent, and I understand you can always use more offensive talent, and I absolutely love Love. I think he's a fantastic talent. But to me, if Sonny Skiles is there at 5, the Giants haven't had an all-pro linebacker in a long time. It's been a long time since, since 2000?
Yeah.
The last time we had an all-pro linebacker. I mean, it was our middle linebacker, and that's the last time. So, it's been a while. I told you. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, also for the Caleb Downs thing, even if they don't take him at 5, there's a chance he could fall. I'm just reading what I could read, and a lot of it is I've seen him anywhere from 5 to 12 get taken.
Right.
So
it's not a great draft. I mean, it's not the deepest draft in the world, but there are some good players.
And I appreciate the call, Robbie. It's not a deep draft, and I think Caleb Downs is the best player in the draft. Again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm a college football expert. I watch the big games. I like Florida. I root for Rutgers. Like, I watch these games, and I'll watch the playoffs. So and the Pop-Tart Bowl. The biggest of the games. I think the Pop-Tart Bowl, the greatest trophy in all of sports. But I just don't love the draft this year. But again, these are the drafts. When you see this, like, you don't love the draft, but these are the drafts that end up having the guys that end up killing it. And, me and Nico have talked about this in the past. I'm very high on Caleb Downs. I don't think there is a franchise-altering player in this draft. I don't even think Fernando Mendoza is a franchise-altering player. I think if Fernando Mendoza did what he did this year, and it wasn't for Indiana, and let's say he, had transferred to LSU or Ohio State, and he did the same thing, same season, won the Heisman, all that, national championship, I don't think people would be loving him as much. But I think because there is this perceived, like, he took Indiana from the depths of hell and brought them to the promised land, which isn't really true because they were in the playoff the year prior, and it's Kurt Cignetti that's really done the heavy lifting there, and NIL. But I don't think there's a franchise-altering player in this draft. The guy I like the most, though, is Caleb Downs. And then there's guys I like. Like, it doesn't mean there's no talent. It doesn't mean they're all going to be bust. It just means you might not have, like, a Hall of Famer, but you may have 10, 15 guys that are, 10-year starters, 8-year starters, 6-year starters. Like, that's where I see the value in the draft. I'm not hoping to get a Hall of Famer. I'm hoping to get a guy that I know is going to be here for 6, 7, 8 years. Like, I like the guy. I said it earlier. I like, let me bring it back up. C.J. Allen out of Georgia is a guy that I like as far as, but he's not a top 15 pick. He may not even be a first-round pick. And then, I love the tight end out of Oregon, Kenyon Sadiq. But, again, these guys, I hated Bo Nix. I hated the pick. Look at where the Broncos were this year. I thought Josh Allen was going to be a terrible football player.
I loved the Evan Neal pick.
Exactly. The Evan Neal pick they got praised for.
Yeah.
The Broncos took Jerry Jeudy in that draft with all the wideouts. And this is not a funny joke, but it took him 3 years to eclipse Henry Ruggs' numbers, who only played 1 year in the NFL. Jerry Jeudy was supposed to be this can't-miss wide receiver that was going to transform the position. We're still talking about him figuring it out.
Well, that's why I think the Giants need to trade back now.
Both?
With this 10th
Not
pick.
both, obviously. The 10th pick.
Right, because if they put all their chips into the basket of whoever they draft with the 10 pick, that's a lot of pressure on that player now to come in and have the expectation of this guy has to be as good as Dexter Lawrence, otherwise the Giants lost the trade. If you trade back and get a bunch of picks, now you could draft, let's say they trade back and they get a late first and then, a second next year and an extra fourth rounder this year. Now, if all three of those players, like you said, are 10-year starters that make an impact, none of them are as good as Dexter Lawrence, but having three good players compared to one superstar, it makes up for the loss of Lawrence.
And for the Bengals, they look at themselves as a win-now team. They don't need the number 10 pick. They need a guy that they hope regains his form and is an all-pro. That's why you make that move. For the Giants, also, I think the Giants have a ton of talent. You obviously need, Malik Neighbors and Jackson Dart to grow before you're really going to contend for a Super Bowl. You need to also build up the secondary. So getting rid of Dexter Lawrence is a way to expedite that. And like you said, you trade back at 10. Let's say they get a late first-round pick, 25. They could take an interior defensive lineman. They could take a linebacker. They could take a corner. And then you get more picks on the second, third day or for the future draft. I don't know how it's 3 years of drafts you could trade. Hey, okay, because I know that they were trying to make it 5, but it was 3 years of drafts. They should just make it however many you want, because if you're a team that wants to blow up your draft capital, you should be punished for it. You should not be protected from that.
I will say, though, I hate how in the NBA you got teams trading like 20, 33 second-round picks.
Yeah.
Like, you're trading. Technically, I know it's sounds weird to say it like this, but you're technically trading for a 12-year-old. Like, you have no idea who you're going to be drafting in 7 years.
Yeah. As somebody who plays a lot of NBA 2K franchise mode, I have traded for many of, 6 years down the road draft picks. But a perfect example, in the NBA, they're so afraid of teams hurting themselves, they protect them. You can't trade 2 first-round picks in a row. I think you should be able to make a dumb decision if you want to make a dumb decision, and that should be on you. I get it. You got a business to run, but that should be on you. All right. So Robbie, I must have cut him off too soon. He wanted to say that the Mets are Cohen's fault. If he wanted Pete back, they should have done that. Well, I mean, Pete's hitting 200 right now. So if we were losing, here's the funny thing is, and I wanted Pete back. I'm just trying to give you the other perspective. If Pete's here and the same thing's happening, we're talking about why did they bring back the same team again? That's what we're saying. It's bad. It's bad either way. Diaz got shut down. McNeil is McNeil. Alonso's been terrible. Nimmo's been hitting. But do we think Nimmo would have been hitting here? We were all okay with the thought of Nimmo not coming back. It was Alonso and Diaz were the guys that we did not want to get rid of. And I think that's the saddest part. In my head, I can't figure out how this year worked out. Think about where we were. 2024 ended. We got Juan Soto. And since then, it has been a disaster. Sean Manaea is not even a starting, or he can't even pitch out the bullpen. Peterson, shell of himself. Senga, awful. At least when Peterson sucks, he still battles, but he sucks. Clay Holmes has been good. And you'll never give him credit because it's the only good move he's made in the last 2 years besides Soto. Clay Holmes has been good. Nolan McLean, good. Great. They can't even win when he pitches great. 888-808-1019. I see your calls. We'll get back to the calls in a second. We'll continue the conversation. Mets, Knicks, Yankees, Giants, Dexter Lawrence. It's all on the table. I got you for another half an hour. Anthony Gallo on the Fan.
It's Sunday afternoon baseball with the Yankees and Royals. 1:35 today.
Going, and go!
Susan Waldman and Dave Sims call all the play-by-play. The home of Yankees baseball is The Fan. 101.9 FM, 660 AM. And always live and available in Espanol with Ricky Ricardo on the free Odyssey app.
Imagine a gentleman's club with over 200 gorgeous exotic dancers every week.
Hey, big boy.
From the people who make fantasies come true, Gallagher's 2000 in Long Island City is the place to be. Gallagher's 2000, a gentleman's club for today, gentlemen. Gallagher's 2000 features 2 floors, 3 stages, discounted drinks, VIP, champagne rooms, and dinner specials every night. Gallagher's 2000 offers complimentary lunch Thursdays and Fridays with any drink purchase.
Come on down, big boy.
Gallagher's 2000 is New York's largest upscale gentlemen's club, and Gallagher's 2000's bachelor parties will blow you away. For their bachelor party specials, call 718-361-1348. Gallagher's 2000 is located at 4319 37th Street in Long Island City, Queens, just a half a block north of Queens Boulevard. Call 718-361-1348. Gallagher's 2000 is unlike any club in New York. Come tonight for the time of your life. Gallagher's 2000.
Let your imagination run wild.
At Town Fair Tire, New England's largest name brand discount tire dealer, you get it all. The guaranteed lowest price, the most free services, and we accept all valid rebates from any manufacturer and from our competition. Yes, we accept them all, even competitor rebates. Town Fair Tire, New England's largest discount tire dealer, now with over 120 stores from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This portion of the program is brought to you by police officers RightToSue.com.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, April 25th. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent drug misuse before it starts.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. For free information and to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, simply go online and visit DRA.com or call 800-535-1582. 800-535-1582. Again, that's 800-535-1582.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Sponsored by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
No matter the season, New York sports never stop. Yankees, Mets, Giants, Jets. If it's happening, we're talking about it. The Fan, 101.9 FM and always streaming on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
Do what I could, babe. Do what I should, babe.
Oh, that's right. Anthony Gallo on the Fan. 888-808-1019. I missed this earlier, but 2 hours ago, Mike Puma said Tobias Myers will start today for the Mets. David Peterson was scheduled to start. He is not injured, according to sources. And then, so we'll see what happens. But, Tobias Myers has been fine. We will see how that goes. Hopefully he gets stopped the bleeding. Peralta couldn't. Me and Nico, we're laughing through the tears here, but we're sitting here getting frustrated, and they bring up, they put Jorge Polanco on the IL. So now Polanco, Young, Soto, all on the IL. And they activate Hayden Senger. So I'm trying to figure out what it is. And I'm like, oh, all right, maybe the thought is when you DH Alvarez, you still have 2 catchers. And then I'm thinking to myself, that doesn't make sense because you have MJ Melendez on the team. And yes, he's not, you don't want him catching, but God forbid you need a catcher, you put him at catcher. If you're DHing Alvarez, to keep Alvarez in the lineup every day because he's your best hitter right now. So it can't be that. And then I'm like, oh, all right, maybe, you call up when Soto's activated, hopefully this week, you send down Sanger. But again, why? You got Tommy Pham and MJ Melendez that you can DFA if you need to. They're not guys that I care about. Although Melendez looks a little bit more like a big leaguer than Tommy Pham does at this moment. So the Mets are now carrying 3 catchers. They can't hit, they can't pitch, they can't field. If Nolan McLean isn't pitching, I don't expect much. If it's not Alvarez or Lubob at the plate, I expect nothing. And that is a sad state of affairs. 888-808-1019. But the good thing is, Yankees put up double digits in runs. The Knicks win game 1, like I thought they would. And Dexter Lawrence is now a Bengal, and the Giants have the number 10 pick in the draft. Tony in Deer Park, what's going on, Tony?
My man, how are you tonight?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, I just worked from 5 a.m. I just got all this news. I'm psyched as a Giant fan. I mean, we've got options now. We got options what we can do with number 10. I love it. I couldn't be more psyched with Harbaugh as our coach. It's been a long 15 years, and I hate to sound it because listen, I've seen 4 Super Bowl wins, so I don't want to sound like greedy here, but it's been a long run for us, man. This has been a terrible run.
Right? It's okay. Listen, Tony, it's okay. You don't have to be a long-suffering fan like a Jeff fan who's the same age as you for it to say that it sucked. It's been a decade. You've been one of the worst teams in all of football.
Awful. Yeah, but now there's hope. There is hope finally. With all these coordinators they brought in, I never had it. We won with men. You won with Parcells. You won with Coughlin. You won with men in the room. We need that man back in the room, and he's here. And I'm psyched. Let's go Knicks. Let's go Giants.
Let's go, Tony.
Go, baby.
Hell yeah.
Attaboy. Hey, man, let's go.
Let's do it. I love it, Tony. I love the vibes. It's been a good vibes night. I had to touch on the Mets because I had to get it out of my system. But we've been Knicks, win, fun times. Yankees put up double-digit runs. The Giants make a big trade. It's been a good night. The vibes are high. I really am so. I was laughing with Gordon Damer. He was on before me. And the news breaks. And I told Gordon, I go, thank God the Giants did this because we want to talk Knicks, but there's not a lot to get into. They dominate game 1, in my opinion. They look great. I'm not really worried about the Hawks. We would have had fun, came out the gate at a party, and then it would have been 3 hours of Mets misery and Yankee fans, trying to tell you why them scoring, 10-plus runs means nothing, and that would have been the night. But we get to have some fun. We get to, dance it up. Knicks win. Giants make a big move. As far as some other notes, Jordan Schultz had reported before, the Bengals are going to hammer out a deal with him. We all suspect that they are too cheap to do, but they are. And again, as I've been saying, they think it's a win now situation. Like they viewed looking at 10, there wasn't a blue chip there for them to go after. That's just how it was. So they are in a good spot, and the Giants also in a good spot. Matt in Manhattan, what's going on, Matt?
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned Gordon because I was listening to him before, too, and he didn't think the Giants were even going to be able to get a first-round pick of any sort for Lawrence.
Well, I got to be honest, Matt. I thought that if they got a first-round pick, it would have been in the year after's draft, not this year.
Sure, yeah. Well, maybe this year's draft may have less value than next year's draft in the eyes of GMs, but, the reason I call is to say that, I love it. I love to have 10. I love to have 5, and I don't think anyone's mentioned it, but I want to make this totally clear. Please, no one come up with the idea. If this is Harbaugh's first move as a Giant, I don't want his second one to be trading up to 3 to get Love. That would be an utter disaster.
It's not happening, Matt. It's not happening. I'm telling you right now, if they're taking Love, maybe it's at 5.
I don't want him at 5 either. Please learn from the mistakes that bad teams do by taking running backs that high. But for God's sake, don't go up
They're not trading up for at 3. I appreciate the call, Matt. I appreciate it. If they take him at 5, but they get their defensive player at 10, you're still in a good spot. They're not taking Jeremiah Love. I promise you. I also don't think they're going to get the chance to. I don't think they're trading up to 3. If they're taking an offensive player in the top 10, it's going to be a wideout at 10. Whether it's Lemon or Tate or, Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. That's what they're doing. I thought they could get a first-round pick for Dexter Lawrence, but it all depends. I thought it was going to be in next year's draft, and they were going to, because you're going to trade with a team that is contending. So their thought is they're probably not going to need it for next year's QB-heavy draft, but they got it in this draft, and they got a top 10 pick for him. And they might trade that pick to get even more assets, and then you continue the train. Hector in the Bronx. What's going on, Hector?
Hey, Gallo, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. I just want to say, go Knicks. I'm super hyped about them.
Yes.
But, as far as baseball, I'm a Yankees fan, and I see in my team as many holes as the Mets have. I just feel like the Mets, because, the Yankees bullpen, and we have like 5 guys batting under 200. So we have, a lot of flaws as well. But the Mets, you guys have
the Yankees,
I think super talented team. And
Hector, real quick. The thing is with the Yankees' only problem is they haven't hit consistently, and it's their best players. Do we think Judge, Bellinger, Stanton, and Jazz are not going to hit this year? I'm sorry. I can't see it. I think they'll be fine. The Mets, they can't pitch, they can't hit, they can't field. They don't do anything well.
Right. But a lot of other teams like Pittsburgh and Oakland having a better record, you're like, these guys got to turn around, man. I just think, I'd be honest, for the Mets, a nice 6-game winning streak will make everybody feel a little different than what.
100%, Hector. I'm sorry, man, and I know you're trying to be a little positive there. Look at that, Yankee fan. Again, we always say we can't get along, and look at that. He was saying, I think, a little win streak and we'll be fine. He's right. The Mets go out there and win 6 in a row. We're going to change our tune. And they'll be, a game under 500, and we'll change our tune. But right now, they're not. They're on a 10-game losing streak. They're a disaster. They're a joke. It's their longest losing streak since 2004. Now, the way my sick brain works, my Mets, beaten down, traumatized brain is in 2004, they had an 11-game losing streak. And the next year, they signed Pedro and Beltran. So maybe we just got to wait till next year, and then good things will happen. Or what will happen is next year will come, and they'll make moves, and then the league will lock out. And we won't get any. This might be the last baseball season the Mets ever have before we're all watching KBO baseball, betting on the NC Dinos. I'm sad that I know what that is, but the pandemic was a tough time. Boog Shambi in a closet calling Korean baseball games at 5 in the morning and me getting up to watch them. 888-808-1019. Solomon in the Bronx, or Solomon in Brooklyn, my fault. What's going on, Solomon?
I'm very sad like crazy. I'm a Giants fan, but, it hurts me that Dexter Lawrence went to the Bengals. I want to know if you can make me happy.
Well, why
how the Giants will do. Because Dexter Lawrence was like the best tight end over there. Like no one was better than the Giants. He was the best defensive tackle like the Giants had.
Well, Solomon, I'll tell you this much, and I'm gonna talk you into a better place. You didn't win anything with them. You're starting a new era with John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh, Malik Neighbors, Brian Burns, and Jackson Dart. That's the new era. That's the way. And now you have more cap space. You have more picks, high asset picks, and you had a great free agent period to start. The future is bright. It sucks. And you know what? I get it. If I was a Giants fan, a little bit of me would be sad because Dexter Lawrence was the most consistent thing you had over the last 6 seasons. But you know what? The future is bright, Solomon. So take care, my guy. Thank you for the call. This is a good time, Giant fans. It may suck. I'm sure a lot of you got kids, or if your kids are listening and maybe the Dexter Lawrence was their favorite player, and they're sad. But you know what? It happens. And also, I hear, like, when Pete Alonso left, and everyone's like, what David Stearns did this offseason was terrible for kids. Where were you guys when I was growing up? I watching guys leave, and it was like, all right, I guess I got to get used to this. This is the way my life's going to be. But the future is bright. Even if you didn't love the trade, the one thing, let's say you didn't like the trade, the one thing you could take from this, step back and look at the entire picture. You've got a head coach who now, year one, before they even play a game, gets to start clean. Because if they go through this season and, they're fine, and then Dexter Lawrence wants to leave and you get rid of him, now it's harder because you've went through a year. This guy's disgruntled. It could affect the locker room. You've already cut it out. You need guys to buy in to what John Harbaugh is preaching. And I'm not saying he did it, but he clearly wanted to get paid. So you have to get rid of these guys. You have to start clean and build the culture. Guys are always going to want to get paid. But right now, the Giants aren't in the position to pay a defensive tackle $30, $35 million. They just aren't. And he is worth it, but they're not in that position to do that. Bobby in Queens, what's going on, Bobby?
How you doing, man? Just wanted to talk about this Giants trade. Everybody's throwing a parade like they made the greatest trade in the world, where they gave up a defensive player who was probably, let's be honest, maybe top 3 at his position, right?
No, 100%. Bobby, you're 100% right.
So let's break this down then. Let's say, okay, you got the 10th overall pick, right?
Right.
Everybody's acting like this is the greatest thing in the world for them. So their defense is going to take a hit no matter what. You just lost a top 3 at your position.
Okay.
You can't tell me like you're going to be better
Bobby,
next year. And
real quick,
Bobby,
where were they ranked in run defense last year?
Doesn't matter.
No, Bobby, answer the question. Bobby, answer the question, Bobby.
Yes or no?
Bobby.
Just answer the question. Was this guy a top 3 at his position?
Bobby,
yes or no?
Bobby, you got to answer my question first. No, Bobby, you got to answer my question. Bobby, I said first. Bobby, answer my question, Bobby.
No.
Bobby, you don't want to answer the question. They were second in run defense. They were second in, and not second in being a good run defense. They were second to last in run defense. Bobby, do you know who they traded to get Dexter Lawrence? And I'm sure you said the same thing then. Do you know this one, Nico? Because I actually found this out tonight. Do you know who they traded to get the pick to draft Dexter Lawrence?
I do, yes. It was Odell Beckham Jr.
And I'm sure a bunch of Giants fans said, we're never going to get someone as good as Odell Beckham Jr. And guess what? You know what pick Dexter Lawrence was taken at? 17. So you can't tell me you're not going to draft a guy as good when you got the 10th overall pick. And you won nothing with Dexter Lawrence, Bobby. You won nothing. Zilch. You won one playoff game because Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley ran the ball. And then you got the brakes beaten off you by the Eagles. And how many times has a different running back come in and shoved it down your mouth? So, yes, Dexter Lawrence, top 3 at his position. He is. And if anything, I have said he's one of the more underappreciated people in the league. You won nothing with him. You added Brian Burns, and he got worse. He got fat. He got slow. He got unmotivated and worse. You don't play with more talent and get less motivated. You don't. And as a fat guy, I could call another person fat, so I don't want to hear it, all right? I like Dexter Lawrence a lot. You cannot sit here and tell me he was the key to all the success. You're going to go out there and you could piece together the interior defensive line. There are parts of your team that you can piece together. And yes, when you have a great one, it helps, but you can win with lesser talent, more players at that position. There's a reason why a lot of people can never even tell you who the best players at those positions are. Hence, why I always used to say Dexter Lawrence underappreciated. And Bobby didn't want to play the game. I ask you a question, you answer it, and then I answer your question. But instead, you want to be a schmuck. You're the second worst run defense in the league. You won nothing with them. And to the people who tell you you can't trade a talent like Dexter Lawrence and then expect to get something at that pick. Well, let's break it down one more time. You traded Odell to get the pick that got you Dexter Lawrence. And I'm sure at the time you said you're never going to get a player as good as Odell Beckham Jr. And you get Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence taken at the 17th overall pick in his draft. So no, it does not guarantee at 10 you're going to get another Dexter Lawrence. But what I can tell you is you could tell me it doesn't guarantee, or you can't tell me it guarantees that you won't. I got there. You just got to give me a chance. Sometimes the words crush each other. Come on. Nobody's throwing a parade. Today is a good day. We're all living the high life. The Knicks won. But today is a good day for Giants fans. You have a new coach, and your star did not want to be here. You know what I say? See you later. Shout out to Jack Hardy, Nico Scarlatus, holding it down behind the glass. I will be back next week, I think midnight to 5 a.m. Sunday morning. So I will see you then. The great EJ Stewart is coming up next. Knicks, Giants, the Yankees, all the positive stuff, and the crap that is the New York Mets. Catch me during the week as I make a fool of myself on the wheel in the Carton Show. Hit me up on X at @PicoDay_Gallo, on IG at PicoDeGallo24, or you can just search my name, Anthony Gallo, on either of those. But stay tuned, a lot of action to go to. Let's go Knicks. Big game 2 on Monday night. Hopefully the Mets win something. See you later.
Sports Radio 101.9 FM.